on the global stage. Maybe just not here, unfortunately. Yara crew are now up to 6 elims. I thought they multiple times were going to be down to 2-1 player in this scenario, but they've managed to fight through. They're up to 6 elims. They're in 3-player situation. They've got a solid spot. For Kodiak, it's, again, another chance to potentially look to chase. A big chicken dinner here from Kodiak could put them in striking distance to the Boars, who were only able to get 4 points this match.
Yeah, again, I think for Boars, this might be game over now in terms of the first place. I think Yara crew just wins from here, by the way. This is you do just win from this spot. In the meantime, SWAT Europa looking to get Kodiak off their backs, but it's not looking easy as Eclipse is the final player in hand and already taking a bunch of shots from Kodiak up on high. And he might just have come to the end of the road here, which he has.
The sun's getting real low for Eclipse. And there's an answer from across the way. Alpi are chiming in. So Kodiak now playing as 3, but they've got 12 elims now, Blank. This is a solid run. They're looking to sweep through. Alpi will be a bit of a challenge, though. The 3 sight lines against them. Momodal, sure, he's not currently flushable. Yara crew not going to flex out for it, but Alpi will be a problem here. To move on forwards, they do need to try and deal with that angle. The good news is that they are very lined up in that spot. Calais,
okay. Yeah.
Way too bold.
Yeah, okay. That's probably the worst play we've seen from this guy. Overall, Loco will go down. What are we doing?
What was that? Like, they know that Britzy are there. They know that TBSS are there. If they don't, they definitely should do.
It's the most unnecessary play I've seen. This entire match. You just play Watchtower. You don't have to go anywhere. Like, Ritzy can't stand up now, because the whole reason you play this spot is that it gets to a point in the game where players can no longer stand up around you. And you just win because you have one of the only bits of cover left remaining.
Ooh, Alpi nearly get the run-up to go well. In fact, they do. Okay, they survive with a little assist coming through from TBSS, but now they're under a lot of pressure. I mean, this is such a big opportunity for Kodiak. They've got so many elims already, could farm up plenty more now as Cappuccino is a solo in this location. Another elim added to the tally. You can see 7 elims coming through from Frizzo. And on that angle, he will spot Cappuccino, or rather Cappuccino will spot him, but the gun fire gives the game away. TBSS also with a big chance to prove themselves yet again.
TBSS have been having a really good day today. I've been really happy with the way they've been making their way into a lot of these circles. Erangel seems like they're starting to 100% understand this map a lot better, understand how to rotate in. They're not that late to these circles anymore. I definitely give them, the accolade of just the most improved team out of the entirety of these squads.
Really happy to see them start to flourish. But there's still 3 other teams in this lobby with them right now. And I'm sure they don't feel quite so flourishsome at the moment, with their bellies on the dirt, and Kodiak lording it over them from the high ground. They've got to keep that objective in sight. So do Kodiak, though. 13 elims. A chicken dinner here likely nets them maybe 5 more elims, which would get them up to an 18 elim game, putting them on, what would that be, a 28-point match, jumping them up very significantly. Very, very significantly on those point standings to be within arm's reach of the Boars, potentially. 105 is where they started. So, yeah, it would be pretty nasty news for the Boars if Kodiak are able to sweep through this one.
That's a big possibility as well. Kodiak, they've had some fantastic games in the past. Cappuccino, last player alive now for Alpi, playing in a spot that, you sort of have to grab later on versus Yara crew. But with these player counts, 4 players for Kodiak, 4 players for TVSS, Yara crew don't really have the staying power here anymore.
The good news is that they aren't within nade range of these big rosters, right? With the 4 from TBSS, they don't have the nades, or rather they may be saving them for a later engagement, and Kodiak just a little bit too far away. So they can bide their time. AZM and Calais can wait. Cappuccino not wanting to poke his head above the parapet because it will get blasted as soon as he makes himself exposed. The next circle coming on through. They're all waiting for it.
I don't know where this goes, and again, it just shifts ever so slightly over towards that western side. Keeps the watchtower again. Like I said, this is an incredible position. Not often afforded to teams. The Kodiak, they're going to really slow themselves down. TBSS has to walk in. You can see there that where they're going to have to walk in is over towards open ground here. Luckily for TBSS, though, they have a lot of their vehicles still available. And what's the play here? Do you make the crash over towards the roadside? Probably. With TBSS now finding the initial knock over towards Hayara, this is really good news for them.
Kodiak find that second. Cappuccino is there. They should know this position. They've been taking shots at it before. TBSS now know that Cappuccino's there. Nades can start to be pinpulled. Without Hatyara crew, now they have a lot of control over the area, but 20 finds the opener over towards Ronin. Looking for another as well. Kodiak rolling down the hill. The nade finds a little tag onto Tornado from Cappuccino on the off angle, and Kodiak continue their march forwards. 2 players now for TBSS. Looking to try and hold on, but Tornado goes so low. The nade out onto Ronin confirms the flush, and Frizzo breaks out wide. Kodiak now looking to encircle this fight and put it in a chokehold. Cappuccino giving it a good go, but takes even damage with Frizio on that scenario. The nade in over the Tornado brings TBSS down to 1. Cappuccino starting to flatten and will not be able to stand up to it. The vehicle goes boom, and TBSS now the last on the menu. An 18 elimination chicken dinner coming through potentially for Kodiak. 1 goes down. He's got a lot of health. Confirms the flush, but he's burning away, Blank. I don't think he gets away with this one. He may just go down. The first nade's coming through, but it will not be enough. The burn is on, and Kodiak give themselves a chance to the top 2.
A really good chance, and I think it would be a massive upset if balls do not go through to PMGO. So we are getting close here right now. For Kodiak, it's a massive game, a 29-point game, which really does shove them up the rankings. For balls, though, I'd be bashing a desk. I'll tell you that now. It's a frustrating one. They take the right position on the map. You expect at that point anyone who challenges them is just going to get shot out and taken down. But you also there is this other possibility there where Hatyara almost baits them into that, where they had so many nades available to clear out Watchtower. So they're just waiting for a team to roll up towards it. But yeah, I think Boss Game were sort of expecting a little bit more of an immediate response to the teams on the north, where Hatyara crew were just fully out in the open. And it's not meant to be. A little bit of an early approach, potentially.
And as much as we hyped it up towards the end, the points gap will still sit at around, I believe, like 30 points or something between Kodiak and Boars Gaming, even with this 29th point infusion being added to Kodiak's tally. It's still quite far away, and it is still quite an outside chance, but 3 matches to play, a 30-point difference when you're talking about teams towards the top is definitely doable. And if Kodiak have found their feet, we've seen what they can do. Frizzo with the MVP with 10 eliminations, Blank 1,750 damage is insane coming through from Frizzo.
That is the highest we've seen for this entire tournament, hands down. A crazy turn up from Frizzo. Not only here, but in our last match on Miramar as well. He has very much been the glue that has held the team together. Though, is that 20s? Or is that Frizzo? Am I getting mixed up?
What do you mean?
Is that 20's portrait or is that Frizzo's portrait? I thought it was 20's portrait.
Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember which one's which. I believe in the graphics, though. We'll go with it for now.
I'll believe in the graphics.
Memodal as well. Top 3 coming through from Kodiak as Winnie is in 3rd place. Of course, Logo had to make an appearance. He did, unfortunately, go down to Calais' interesting play to break out of their tower and try and make a dash for it.
I don't know.
Kodiak with 29 points. Yarakru with 11. They are very close to breaking that 200-point barrier too.
Indeed. It's because they're all giving the old crossed arm pose, the classic esports pose. I'm getting mixed up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For Kodiak, 29 points. TBSS with 11. I'm loving the turn up from TBSS. Hatyara also got 11 points this game, which makes it fairly improbable that Boars catch them up today. They've got 3 more matches to do it, but you got to profit on at least 2 out of the 3. Here's our overall top players. Robs is actually making his way in the top here now, which is great news.
All right, Gloko still sits atop the pack with a huge damage total, nearly on 10k damage for Yara Crew, and Frizzo up in 4th as well after that performance from the last match, doing pretty hefty lifting himself there. 38 limbs coming on in, really nice stuff. Here are the overalls though. So Kodiak they are pretty close enough to worry about for the Boars there. They are under 30 points away, actually. They are going to be 27 points behind the Boars, and that is a bit of an upset coming on through for the Boars. They're going to have to worry about it a little bit more. 3 games left to fend them off. We'll see if the Boars can hold on to a qualification spot, which is a sentence I think was unthinkable just 3 days ago.
Yeah, well, when you look at this game, 27 points away from Boars Gaming, they just got 29, so it's not exactly impossible to hit that on the next match. The Boars Gaming, unfortunately for them, getting first place just feels like a bit of a pipe dream now, because you're looking at a 35-point difference, which means at least 2 games, at least. So that's the big issue there for Boars, is that they'd need at least 2 matches to catch up, and there's only 3 left. So out of they've got to play 66% of their last matches at the highest level possible. I just don't see it happening. On to us, our second page. Venturi Morm still sadly here in 9th. Team Demon have yet to found another placement point, but they have found 11 more elims.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Let's go, Team Demon. Keep turning up the heat and seeing what you can get done. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. That's the way they want to play. That's what they're going to get done. SWAT Europa were trying to change things around in that previous match as well, but they couldn't quite find as much firepower as they did in a Miramar. Instead, they could go down a little bit earlier on. But keeping the bottom of the table is also a little bit fresh and exciting. Nice to see coming through from SWAT Europa. Yeah, difficult approach to the circle on that last match for basically everyone.
Indeed. But speaking of fresh and exciting, let's take a look at some clips from that last game.
The time has come, Blank. It's our final Erangel of the finals here for the Western Europe PMGO. We only have one more of them to play. We've got Miramar, well, we've got Rondo and Miramar up next. And I think that this Rondo could be pretty big. I think if you're going to watch one match today, Rondo may very well be the decider. We talk about these point gaps like they're insurmountable. You throw Rondo into the mix, things get a little bit more volatile. So I'm excited for that one. But this Erangel also could be very decisive depending on how early the balls go down.
And where the circle ends up, I suppose.
That's true.
We are our second Sosnovka of the day. So we'll see what happens there.
Top, come on.
But yeah, you are right. Rondo is going to be a big one in terms of points gain. We're also going to have Miramar being the ender of the day, which it can be a little bit up in the air sometimes in terms of like having those games where you have an end game that is regular and fairly even playing field to win, which is not always likely there on Miramar, a little bit more likely on Erangel, but then again we have been treated to some absolute disgusting Erangel so far during these finals. But yeah, this is our final Erangel of the finals into our final rondo, into our final Miramar. There's last chance saloon for every single map.
Absolutely. We're going for one last run around all of our maps. It's Erangel that we'll be saying goodbye to first, and potentially saying goodbye to quite a lot of teams. I mean, if the Boars have one big game, it is just done, right? There's no way that they're going to be knocked off their second place, and they will have confirmed their spot through. To be honest, the Boars not going through would just be such a massive upset in terms of expectations, in terms of what I'm sure those players are expecting as well. It would be very, very strange to not see that roster going through. With what Hat Yara crew were able to do, obviously they were able to slow them down, and if Hat Yara crew weren't in this tournament, the Boars would just be far enough ahead, and you could distribute those points however you want to mathematically. But yeah, the Boars, I think, would be with a lot bigger of a buffer to be coming into this one, which they currently have not been afforded.
Yeah, well, for Boars, the entirety of the storyline has always been that, is it unfair that Boars is playing in this tournament? Is it unfair? And it seems like that's not the case, because there are teams that seem to be challenging them right now. And that currently at the moment is Kodiak, who have put in a bit of a shift today to get to where they are. But here we go, our final Erangel of the finals here of the Western Europe PMGO finals. We're on board with Magnusard at the time being, but this team needs big points on this match to set themselves apart from some of these teams that are chasing.
I think for Boars, this might be a Yasnaya game. Based on the plane path right now from Primorsk up towards Lipovka, Novo's fairly inaccessible. Do they want to drop around Farm and Milta, grab some vehicles? That's sort of their only option for going to Novo. I think North George or that sort of area is also kind of out of the question. So maybe back to Yaz. That's where Kodiak have been finding their stomping ground. And they don't really want to be giving those points away. Okay. I take it back. They can also drop on that north side of Military Island. I overlooked that one. So yeah, they definitely can go for that and get over to Novo nice and early.
Oh yeah, easily. I thought maybe you were suggesting that they hot drop Kodiak, try and put them in the bin early on, but that is a risk. But instead heading over towards Novo, completely fair. Again, pretty nasty area on the map to work around with in terms of the South Plane path.
I've just spotted something. Blank. God's Reborn and not in Pachinki.
Well,
they've left. They've headed over to Rozhok. Okay, fair enough. They don't want anything to do with SWAT Europa.
I mean, for God's Reborn starting in Rozhok is a actually decent position to work with. You are neighboured by Hat Yara crew, which maybe is a little bit frightening for them, but considering Rozhok is fairly open the majority of the time, this is a pretty easy pickup. Pretty long drop here for Boars. They make their way on over. Magnusard is still in the sky. They've got a bit of a journey out to go towards the north side of the map. But you can see here what we talked about last game with Golden Guardians inside of Milta. 17-15's drop. The fact that they were there first, you sort of have to assume that on some of these weird playing paths. But we'll see as teams make their way in. Severny once again open, but I have seen more and more teams actually heading over towards Severny early. I think one of the first teams to do it was Far Voice Gaming, so we'll probably see them there soon.
Yeah, it looks like they're already on the road for it. Boars sweeping over the north side of Military, going to get through Novo as fast as they can, because they do need to get on the bike. We're not going to have another one of those silly sausage Sosnovka circle stampedes this time around, Blank. They are going to be going over to the mainland. It's 100% guaranteed we cannot finish on Sosnovka now, which means this is probably one of the kindest circles that we've seen in such a long time for this map. It's kind of crazy.
It's a normal circle. You're right. I don't think we really talked about that too much. We're not doing anything too insane here. They're heading over towards that north side. Otherwise, game actually pick up North George. They don't head straight away over towards Savannah. They're going to leave that one out. And I mean, to be honest with you, if you spot that North George is open and free and the Boars are already here, there's a much better drop spot. A much better looting spot, in fact, at the early stages of the game. Yeah, Boars got a bit of a journey ahead of them.
I think you're right for Farvoice. It's much more powerful. Teams will start to crunch in around Severny if it ends up going north of the river, and then transition out towards the shooting range hills, with the potential of even flowing south down towards Everest. I mean, it just gives you so many more options if the circle goes south of that central river. So yeah, you're absolutely right on Farvoice taking up that position. Really quite solid. Not too sure about Alpi's decision though. Seemingly looking to get closer and closer towards Zaki on this one. Not the decision I would have made. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. If you're going to make this big whole journey out towards the north side of the map and then fling Zaki side, yeah, it's a bit of a weird option. I think for LP, the only caveat I can give is maybe they're worried that there are teams already in Severny, which that would not be wrong to say. As Farvoice Gaming have gone there a few times and are pretty swift on the approach. You don't have a huge amount of information, but I'd much rather scout Severny and then double back towards shooting range if that was the case.
It might just be a little bit of loot insecurity for LP, because depending on how much they were able to get before they made that move, perhaps they're thinking, okay, we could go for Severny, but if we get stuck in a fight there, they've had time to loot the whole of Severny, and we're on, level 1s. One of us doesn't have a helmet, we've only got 2 nades between us all, kind of thing. So it may just be pick through Severny, move in about a minute and a half pick through Zaki in about a minute and a half, move over and see what you can find there. But yeah, still a strange decision. I think it's safe to say you could commit one player over to scout it, which I think is probably what you were alluding to.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a little peek in and go from there. 17-15 Golden Guardians once again get themselves stuck into it, pulling up the fisticuffs here. I have a reoccurring trend between both these squads on their rotate out towards that northern side. Giving each other a wide berth for the time being, though. 17-15 is setting up a bit of a shield wall.
Trying to lock in the phalanx. But so far, I mean, Golden Guardians not really giving too much away. With Hoxie on the back foot, though, if Hoxie gets spotted here, or maybe if he spots Heaven, actually, could really change things around, playing on in the shack. As we go over to the west bridge, you can see Team Demon trying to make their move away from Sosnovka military base. TBSS not going to hold it. They're still in Ferry Pier, Blank. They're in Ferry Pier. In the last match, they finally decided, should we just take Ferry Pier? That seems like a good idea. Should we do that? Okay. And they are going to be able to get it. He's inspecting the building cornicing there. He's making sure that the cupboards are looking nice and safe. Okay, good. No splinters. Brilliant.
Kodiak working the way in from that western edge. Eastern edge, sorry, from Yasnaya. Pretty usual spot for them. They're always happy though. They get themselves the loot truck really early in the game every single time, which is one of the blessings you get from Yasnaya. If you can get there early enough, that is. Very slow game from Boars, though. Goodness me. Still making their way off over at Maya.
Yeah, they took a little bit of time to get to Nova, but it wasn't very slow. I mean, they got off in the early third of the plane path. They grabbed vehicles very, very quickly. Perhaps they're worried about bridge camping on that east side. It could be something that a team from Milta would try and hold them out for as they try and get across. In fact, 17-15 look like they are moving back east to something. Maybe they're going to try and go up around the east side, around the Stauber foothills, and get north of the river. Could potentially be a choice, but I'm puzzled by 17-15's decision to make this rotation. Maybe this is something that the Boars know that they tried to do.
I mean, you wouldn't be... I don't think you're far off, honestly. For Boars, they know that they've got free games, right? Free games to stay ahead. Right now, you want to play relatively safe. Getting 6 to 10 points per game likely is the aim of the match for them, which is very doable. But they are giving it a good old wait here. And they can wait until stage 3. I don't think they want to wait till stage 3, but they absolutely can.
I think as well there's the factor of you wait for this second circle and then you actually know if you need to go north of the river, and that might be the decision-making position that they're going for. And as soon as that stage 2 hits, they do move, so that might also be on their minds. I am so puzzled about 17-15. They had the whole east side of Potato Hill. This feels like a targeted play towards the Boars to try and just hold one of their players out and try and take a player down on their roster. Potentially give Kodiak a chance, because Kodiak now are north of the river in potentially one of the more accessible places. They might slam headlong into rain if they keep going farther north, but if they head west, they'll start to get into those shooting range hills.
I can't believe 17-15 is still here, though. It is wild, like you say. We're going to focus in on the circle on the northwest within Cherry Morton. Towards the centre here, on that centre island. It's the first time that we haven't had a super deterministic circle where it's either head fully on the north side or fully down towards the south. It's actually a game where we get to see the river a little bit more involved on this one. But the teams have played a civil circle like this, I think, on day 1, where this ended far northwest, around shooting range in the forest there. Ritzy set up nicely towards a northeast position, and with Everest being in play, a bit of a funnel around ruins. I do think you'll probably see a lot of teams coming in a little bit later to this one, waiting for those spots to open, or even taking a really wide wrap up over towards that northeast. We can currently see both Golden Guardians and 17-15 they are playing very, very silly down towards this south side. I don't know why they're still here. I think Boars are also completely confused by this. It makes no sense.
This is flummoxing as to why 2 teams have decided to send out this area with the circle as it sits. They are sweeping their own legs out to try and take down the Boars, it seems. It's very, very strange. I mean, the Golden Guardians, I can understand it more from them. Target the Boars. They're the team that you need to bump off that second place spot. But from 17-15, that's even stranger. Rain, they've been going head-to-head with Kodiak for a while. They did manage to get a knock. It was res. They got a re-knock. But now the bullets are starting to find their way back over to them. Frizzo does go down. A pretty heavy hit to the roster, one of their main fraggers, but they still got plenty more firepower in the back pocket. 20, obviously a standout during those knockout stages. And a modal, looking to put pressure forward. Nade in to control the building. Mitza around the edge. Will not get found just now. Winnie also looking to open up through it. Golden Guardians losing players in the meantime on the south side, 17-15. As those 3 teams still keep it going. Winnie around the window, looks for the shutdown, finds another. Kodiak keeping their hopes high. And with the Boars going low, they still just have this chance on the northeast side. The circle pushing everybody north of the river now.
I mean, still keeps that little island on the south end, though. Which is always awkward, a bit more on Rozok's side as well. But you can kind of tuck yourself in towards Rozok. Kodiak are dropped down towards 3. Team Rain on 2, starting to look to send away here. But that does leave Kodiak high and dry in the blue for a long, long time. Golden Guardians and 17-15 still fighting on this south side for whatever reason. Golden Guardians are technically winning it pretty handedly, though, so can't complain too much about them.
Well, the Boars certainly will complain about them because, again, 3rd place, Golden Guardians were able to do a huge lift over towards them previously. They are still very much an outside chance on it, though, with over 40 points needed. I think that was a 42-point difference between them. They would need sort of back-to-back chicken dinners and for the Boars to go down early. As I said, it's more understandable for the Golden Guardians to go for a bridge camp against the Boars. But for 17-15, that feels just kind of wild to make that sort of decision. And they may... Well, they have lost out entirely. They are all down. And in fact, 3 points are going to go to the Golden Guardians. Boars playing it with 2. Managed to get across the river, actually, to the north side. And no one seems to be giving them too much trouble now.
For the Boars, again, like I said, it's about survival at this point, right? And that is the name of the game. It always has been in PUBG, but for Boars, it is quite literally just about survival. Getting further into the game than Kodiak. Kodiak's coming in on that northeast side. Potentially Team Demon gives them a bit of a problem. We know Team Demon do have some claws on them, although they are very brittle. Fragile claws, it is.
Yeah. Pretty ceramic in nature. Nice and sharp, but might snap if they get too far out of check. Havoc trying to fend off against Vocher Mortem on the western side. Vocher Mortem are on 4 players alive, and Havoc going pretty low here. But Wings has the off angle. Faker has the nades. They've got more pouring out of the windows here, and Vocher Mortem may be suffering. An answer finally over towards Faker. And now Havoc really are going to struggle to hold this building now. No top floor there, and it's all up to Wings to try and find the last 2 players from Vocher Mortem on the western side. He has to play off back. Wants to get Faker back in. Safix on the window. Position spotted. Nade in from Wings. Is it going to land? No, not quite. Pubgm has nades cooking from the back lines as well. Faker, I mean, he should just get flushed away at this point. Nade on in. Bounce. Nearly getting that knock, but just about able to fade the damage.
Yeah, it's a very nice nade, actually. Bouncing off the top of the barrel, but some good maneuvers coming through from Wings right now. Keep himself safe. Circle does center up over towards balls, which might be more than they bargained for us, actually. Being so central here is very worrying for the team.
Oh my goodness me. Alright, let's cram in, see how many players we can fit into this area. Havoc eliminated, Vocher Mortem able to conclude that fight, but at the cost of 2 of their players. And on the far west, they need to storm the battlement. SWAT Europa do not want to let that happen. And they will be moving on in from that south side of the river, actually looking to use that crossing, which is nice. And with the diminished Vocher Mortem, that west side is more accessible now.
Cherry, you kind of open up a lot of that space for them, like you're saying, John. I think the Gods Reborn, once they get in a decent spot, TBSS, man, I know they might not be getting a huge amount of points, but I like their rotations. They're, and I'll put it this way, okay? You gotta trust me that I'm not hyping this team up too much, but they're a team that's playing safe, but I think they're learning a lot off of these matches, right? 94 points right now is an incredible result from a team that was getting 16s, 15s multiple times in a row. They do play extremely safe, but it is earning them points. It is earning them points, and they slowly work their way into these circles. They do a lot of homework, it seems, in the meantime. You can respect that from any team.
Absolutely. It is very, very impressive, and we'll keep harping on about it, but definitely now most improved. With only 2 matches left to play, they have really shown some tenacity within this tournament. Really on the best foot forwards. Big fan of TBSS. Vocher Mortem are eliminated. They can't make any further forwards, unfortunately. Kodiak have been busted down to 2 players, Blank. On that northern side, they have been struggling somewhat. And they've got 3 eliminations right now. That is their total points earnings. The Boars pretty happy about that, as Rain take the full tumble. They will be going down on their last Erangel that they'll see this tournament. But yeah, Kodiak, their ability to jump up the tables severely diminished here. The Golden Guardians, not so much though. On the northeast side, I feel like it may be a question of how long can the Boars survive, as we've talked about so many times. It doesn't seem like too many teams are putting pressure on them, but once this northwest side concludes, that's when they're going to be in huge amounts of danger.
Yeah, for Kodiak, you're right. With a lot of the teams coming in from the northwest, they're just waiting for their fights to finish up. You can see here they're already setting up with tons and tons of smokes in preparation for what is going to be a bit of a flood on this northwest side.
You've got SWAT Europa, you've got Ritzy, you've got Alpi, all in the hills of their northwest right now. It looks like Alpi and Ritzy are going to kick things off, but SWAT Europa, I think, have also found an off angle. This is the worst for Ritzy. They are caught between 2 of them. They need to fight on 2 fronts. It's really not going to look clean. Safe trying to turn around, trying to bolster the other angle. Aim God as well, looking to try and stay alive. He's on the road, looking to just send it away. Any survivor, that's what they're looking for. Get on through, get closer to the center. It's not going to be easy. An opener on towards Golden Guardians as they try and join in on the north side festivities. That is not good news for them, though, because the blue zone's putting pressure on, and that's a flush.
Well, I mean, for the Golden Guardians, I'm kind of not too bothered about it, right? But I quite like Golden Guardians as a team, but this game has been a shocker for them. I think that there's no easy way around it. the way they played that early game and then have just swiped their way over towards the northeast, expecting a spot in the circle, I think they would have been much better off playing similarly to how Epsilon Axe has played this one out. Probably, and you know, you won't offer him saying something like that, but I think that Epsilon Axe playing down towards Rozok was the right play. They didn't have a lot of information, so they get themselves over towards a spot where they can really observe the north side of the circle as much as possible, and it's kept them in this match. I think Golden Guardians way over ambitious or greedy almost, thinking they can even have a spot on this northeast side after coming in so late.
Ooh, Demon do get spotted though, and that is Point Man over towards the holds towards the Golden Guardians, so potentially an opening. They are starting to move back down to the east side, and the res needs to come through. Demon under threat right now, because SWAT Europa are crashing in from the northwest side. They are fighting again on multiple fronts. Alpi could third party on towards this north side, but I think the Golden Guardians moving out east is probably the right decision. They are flying back in the face of what you were saying earlier, and hopefully trying to repair their reputation with you. On that rotate, try and take that fight, try and open up towards the riverside. Hatyara crew losing players on the crossing as well to TBSS, who just seem to keep moving on this tournament.
Yep, they are losing players, but this was the right choice. This is one of the few choices they had, which is to ramp back down and play downhill. They've lost a player for it, but that was always going to happen. For Golden Guardians, you come into the circle way too late. I think they got very caught up on that fight with 17-15, which seems to be happening frequently now. And it didn't look so bad before because the circle was always in play with where that fight was taking place. So Golden Guardians need to figure out how they're going to disengage with 17-15 early, because I don't see 17-15 changing up their playstyle around them, and that's Golden Guardians out.
And that is Boars breathing a sigh of relief yet again. As for one more match, they're able to hold on to their position, but how much further can they go? A big result here, if they're able to get up into the top 4, that would be brilliant. Getting a couple of elimination points, they will start to open that gulf for the last 2 matches left to play, being a little bit tricky, but there's always that Rondo X factor that can come into play as we go into the next one. But the Boars at the moment on a point-scoring mission. Every single point does matter for them to just feel safer and safer as time goes on. And that's discounting the possibility that Boars just blast out on Rondo as well. But we'll refocus onto this match. Hatyara crew trying to cross that 200-point threshold as well.
They're not doing terrible job of it. They're trying to get further in. Some good shots from Loco, as per usual. Sort of to be expected at this point from this player. He is incredibly good at what he does.
Epsilon Axe with one player. They tried to get across, but weren't aware or didn't scout out the position from Hatyara crew because they swam earlier. They swam across a lot earlier, and maybe they just didn't check the angles there. For Epsilon Axe, maybe a misstep on that. SWAT Europa trying to roll up to Albi. It's not going super well, though, Blank. 2 of their players are down, or 3 of their players are down, and now it's just Andy Boy left standing for them. Cappuccino wondering where he is. Where is this last guy? What's going on? The nade over the top.
Right.
A bounce is good, but it does a lot of damage to his own team as well. I think Cappuccino's just going to look for these flushes, and Andy Boy, you don't commit for this. Or do you? Okay. Because Team Demon are going to try and crest the ridgeline behind. Okay, he's going straight on over. Andy Boy loses his teammates. Andy Boy sends over the top. Tries to go slow on the roll out there. Takes a lot of damage and has to hit the deck. Position completely known.
Yeah.
And Cappuccino looking to take the opportunity to heal.
Kind of an amusing one where he realizes the play's gone wrong. Just a little bit of a crouch walk out of there. But it does go down. God's Reborn actually finding those shots on side. Team Demon try to make their way in. I think this is one of Team Demon's highest placing games of all tournament, actually.
Definitely could be. Definitely could be. It's going to be up there. 6th place guaranteed to be locked in. Let's see if the Boars are going to prove a little bit of a hurdle too far. Magnazada gets some healing done. Terminus is down, though, and so is Magnazada. They are eliminated. 3 points total, Blank. So really not a big game. Unfortunately, the teams chasing them also not on a big run. For TBSS, they're still trucking, though. They are still going here with 2 elims. They're looking to take a 2-1 split, or is it a 2-2 split, either side of the river. I kind of like this approach again.
Yeah, they've got a 2-1-1, let's put it that way. They've got a player still over towards the western side and 2 players that will pretty much have regrouped now. So you got a 3-1 split at the moment. It is very ridiculous that we have a circle that is breaching back over towards Rozok. And I think the saddest thing about this is that Epsilon Axe thought they had to cross. They actually would have had an insane game if they just held on the south side.
Yeah, it would have been big. But they didn't cover their cross. They may have been trying to leave players behind. I'll wrap back to it now. That Yara crew spoiled that for them, though. Calais and Loco. The two big...
Born here on the high ground.
Long range shot, and they find Ronin trying to move out to that east side. Could be Resible. Gentleman's trying to stop that. The breakout wide. It's all on Tornado to suppress this position. But Blue able to stick out quite far on the silhouette against Tornado as well. I think he might just be out of render distance. No, they should be within render distance. So Tornado much more preoccupied with a flex out to the east side and might have let it slip a little bit. Albana takes a nade to the face and TBSS letting it get away from them here.
Yeah, definitely a mistake from TBSS. I don't think Ronin had to move. Again, for them, they were pretty locked in towards some good spots on the map. The fact that they start really... I think they overthought their position there. You just have to hold and wait for stage 8. Don't have to do anything. So, a little bit rough. And I think that, again, for TBSS, they're still learning. But that was definitely a clear mistake from their part.
Yeah, God's Reborn. Looking to sweep this one through. Just Tornado now left standing. Burns himself out. He's looking to deny the point. Think they might be able to tag it on. No, not quite quick enough on the hop around there to get that point. God's Reborn take the chicken dinner. And the stalemate in second place still stays standing. It is not secure, but the Boars are one step closer to making sure that they do not go out here and now with some fairly middling to poor results in that top bracket.
Yeah, and now we're getting to that stage today where, again, to remind people that if Pubgm want to get first place, both these next two matches have to be chicken dinners, essentially. It's not even a case of they need to have 2 good games in a second place, they need 2 chicken dinners. So I do think right now, Yara crew pretty much secured themselves a first place spot. So fantastic news for them. For that second place, it's a little bit more daring in terms of Kodiak being able to catch up there. And there's still a lot of movement to be had around 4th to 7th place right now. So a lot can change in terms of that prize pool.
Absolutely. A lot of money on offer for them. To see who's going to be able to shake that money tree and get those dollars falling into their pocket. But yeah, I mean, this third place standoff turned into a second place standoff over the course of today. I think that's sort of been the major unfolding storyline here. 19 points for Gods Reborn, and they're kind of joining that standoff now with that match. I think they started this game on 103 points, right? So they are not... They're kind of quite far off with the Boars, but like within worrying distance, especially with a Rondo coming up. There are a lot of teams who could challenge the Boars with a big Rondo match.
Yeah, sweating distance is what we'd call it. It's getting a little bit worrying for some of these squads, but here are top players from that match. Tikas here, I think definitely does deserve a big shout out on the side of Alp Esports. 8 eliminations that game. He did really well for the squad. I think he was 8 out of the 9 or 10 elims they are able to grab. He was going kind of crazy this match.
Let's take a look at those overall standings. 19 points there. Yeah, 11 elims. So 8 of the 11 is very impressive coming through for TCAS. And there's 14 points total earned for that team, for Alpi, to be able to get those away. TBSS as well, 11 points. They have been just doing so well today and continue to be the most improved team that we've seen throughout this tournament. Real big fan of theirs. And probably will be bringing it up again. Ooh, okay. Golden Guardians with an entry here. QWERTY makes his way into 5th.
Yeah, I mean, QWERTY has been playing very well. That game for Golden Guardians, not so great, I would say. I think that they would also probably talk about how they're getting caught in this engagement in 17-15. And it's a little bit more on 17-15 because they consistently stick around. But at some point, if you're Golden Guardians, you just have to think to yourself, we just have to disengage. If that means wrapping towards the west, we have to wrap towards the west. I think for Boars, they should see that and then wrap away. But also, you feel sorry for them a small amount. I don't completely forgive them for that game, but I do feel sorry for them. that they have to flow into those two squads on that north side. But at some point, you got to take a look at what's happening and realize that you are the one who needs to change on that front if it's going to keep happening between 17-15 and Golden Guardians. And that was your last angle to really switch up there. But we head towards our second page, which, you know, we didn't get to talk too much about that first page. I don't think did you see the points? I didn't see the points.
I didn't screen grab them, but I think it was 122 points coming through from, I believe, actually I'm not sure who it was. 122 might have been, yeah, they might be right at the back of the queue to try and jump up to the boars on 164. So yeah, the difference from, I think it was second place down to fifth was in fact 42 points, which with a rondo coming up, and I can't emphasize this enough, this is the sort of game where you can see 30-point chicken dinners, right? There is that potential waiting, lurking in the shadows for the boars, but that relies on the boars going down early, and they stay out of these hot drops. They play from stadium. I wouldn't be surprised if someone sends over the stadium with them and tries to ruin their day, especially if 17-15 are going to just drop on top of them and try and guard them out over the bridge like they did last time around, which was, I mean, still kind of baffling in that last game. But that's how it goes, and they lost 2 players. Couldn't really get too much further.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, Godstreet Born, this is the first game they drop away from Pachinki, and they're like, let's play over towards Roselock, get a much better game off the back of it. So, hey, maybe we should be doing this a little bit earlier. But I for Godstreet Born, it's a tough one. I don't think they expected Sport Europa to actually drop on them on that last match. I think that's very much out of the ordinary. I think they thought, we've won this engagement. They're not going to be doing this on day 3 shortly. Good stuff from Godstreet Born. I think that they've had a fairly good performance throughout the entirety of this tournament. Again, it was always a promising sign, if not an annoying sign, over in the knockouts where they were still doing well despite having so many hot drops. But they do pull some of that dogged behavior through into the finals, which is great to see. Super persistent team.
Absolutely. Great to see these improvements being made across the boards, and hopefully with a chance to jump up into second place. There are 4 teams banging down that door to try and take that second place spot that the Boars currently hold with a fairly significant margin, but with 2 more matches to play, can they hold on? We're going to go to a short break. We'll be back with Rondo, a potential difference maker in those standings. We'll see you guys in a few. Our last rondo is here, Blank. We only have one more chance to see those recall towers in action coming on through for our teams in play. It could be a huge shake-up on the tables. Big elim counts is what we see on rondo. A big opportunity for the teams chasing for that second place spot to make a big dent. And a big chance for the Boars to try and make that impossible as well. Or it could just be a bit of a damp squib and nobody gets any points from the top of the table. We'll have to wait.
This could be the biggest game of all time, actually.
One of the games of all time.
It could be a legendary match. We don't know just yet, but I have a feeling that this could be one of the biggest games of all time. We'll get into it shortly, though, as we're going to be jumping over towards Rondo. Big points, big elims. Seems to be the way forward now. 100 plus seems to be happening all the time. That could shake things up. A lot of teams could profit. We're going to switch things up on the leaderboard right at the end of the day to make it a little bit more difficult to figure out who's going to be in third place.
Absolutely. I mean, third place is still an ongoing battle, and these outside chances at second may have sort of taken over the storylines here. But yeah, you're right. That third place podium is what we were all talking about. Obviously, Kodiak were a highly predicted team coming into these finals. People were looking at them and thinking, they had such a solid performance during the knockout stages earlier on. They really didn't quite bring it in the first few days, but today they've had a couple more successful runs. Obviously, again, one of the closest contenders for that second place spot against the Boars as well. So, are they going to round out the top three? Are they going to be in the top two? This Rondo, I mean, I'm really interested to see who gets the big hot drop elim count here.
Yeah, because it could be an important team, right? I think for Hot Yara Crew, you're done, right? You're first place, I'm pretty sure. It's going to require something quite monumental from the Boars. It's going to require basically a big rondo match from the Boars, right? By big rondo match, I mean like a 30-pointer to even have a chance at the end of the day to catch up. But I'm already counting that out. I think I'm already counting that out here going into match 17. I'm pretty sure that for the guys over on Hot Yara Crew, they have done enough now to stay in first place, grab themselves $6,000 and head through towards PMGO. The Boars, is a matter of not letting anyone else challenge them on that second place at this point.
Yeah, they just need to play a defensive game. I mean, they like to drop Stadium on Rondo. It's a little bit far away from our single plane path, but single plane path goes very close to both Yulin and the Ox Factory. We'll see who ends up going where, keeping our eyes peeled for those chasing teams. At Yara Crew down to Rinjiang. They played this before on the south side, not getting stuck in there. Also, another team not going for it. Boars are going. Boars are going for Neox. Blank, they're going in. So are Kodiak. They want some points to try and defend their position. I mean, all right, a switch up now at this point kind of makes sense to... Oh, no, hang on a minute. They're not going.
Yeah, you've lied to me.
Snowick, wait, some of them are going. Okay, some of them are going. I've half lied to you. I've 50% done a fib.
Of course, it's some of them going. 3 players going into Neox. You always want that other player to head out. But it is Model and Terminus heading towards Bamboo right now. Both players wanting the same spot. Terminus is down, I think, a little bit earlier than the Model. Cherry, Motum, Shoom finds the first couple of shots over towards Far Voice Gaming. And we're on board with Samatana.
Yeah, he's been brought back for Cherry Morton. They've already had to fall back to their outpost. Points being earned, taken fast. Far Voice Gaming getting a whole heap of them. Gods Reborn as well. Again, one of those teams that has a little bit of a chance to get it done. The Boars have taken a knock as well. I think that is one of their players on the inside of Neox Factory on the hot drop coming on through. Unlikely that they get that one back up, but they can get that recall going fairly quickly. The modal was allowed to have the area near Bamboo, and Terminus is flexed back out towards Stadium, where the Boars like to drop. Leaving 2 of their players there. I mean, when you know that you're going to Stadium anyway, you might as well try your hand at getting a point or 2 on board. Did they get the res coming on through on the inside? They did. Okay, so Robs and Vagnazada still in the team deathmatch inside Neox Factory.
Yeah, I think Snowick's got brought up almost instantaneously. And it just hadn't quite updated on our tower. On our end. It's fine. Haven't had the full swing on that one. It is really sad that he goes down there.
Yeah, it's somehow makes it work. Golden Guardians trying to rack up points as well, but it's only Gods Reborn really who are chasing to find it. Wagnerzada, one, looks for the other as well. Havoc cannot take him down around the corner. The Boars are earning points. That's 2 added to their tally already, Blank. Wagnerzada has got a first aid. Kodiak are looking to try and slow him down. And of course, they still have the recall over the Ward Stadium. Wagnerzada gets the heal off, has got some stims as well, might look to pop them, but the nade in hand is a little bit more tempting for him. Havoc on the upstairs, going to draw the attention from Kodiak, and they will start to push on through, grabbing those crates, and now the Borzers too. They've regrouped, and Robson Wagnerzada could face down against Kodiak. A metaphorical battle for second place right now, as Robson Wagnerzada wants to find the opener. A nade in, watching for the corner. It goes long. They were clearing out that angle. Not have to worry about it anymore. Now they can clear the door frame. Another nade for Wagnerzada. That looks good. Finds the first. It bursts underneath him. Takes him down, but there's a 1-for-1 trade. Wagnerzada has more to say about it, though. He just about falls, and Kodiak hold their nerve. But it was pretty close by there. That's 2 more points added to Kodiak, though. And the Boars will have to regroup here.
Man, that's sad. Almost was a crazy play from Wagnerzada. Luckily for Kodiak, they actually make a very good call. Send one player on the outside to basically backstab. If that didn't happen, then that could have looked very bad for Kodiak, going down almost instantaneously at the start of the game. Wagnerzada certainly puts on a good show. It's sad we're not going to the old days of yore, though, where Robs was kind of that shotgun king.
Deathmatch scenarios, strong shotguns can really make a difference. Crazy. Trying to hold down the angle for his teammate. Allende Boy also being a bit of a mosquito in this one, but Mitza able to stay alive for a little bit longer. Can they get these flushes over towards SWAT Europa to grab these points? Oh, okay, a big volley of points added to the Golden Guardians tally there. You see they're up to 3 eliminations now. Mitza with an aid goes towards the Allende Boy and stays alive. Epsilon Axe not getting stuck in here as this hot drop keeps unfolding. Allende Boy with the vault in, now looking to keep his teammates alive. Mitza is really giving them a good go here, but he will fall down. The off angle finally comes into play, and Epsilon Axe move on through. Now Oscuro needs to try and hold strong.
Yeah, it took a little bit long there for SWAT Europa to finish off that final player from Team Raid, and that gave a lot of time for Epsilon Axe to come in. What a cheeky angle there from Oscuro. Gets down the window, finds the player on the top floor. Oh, I think he would have been fine if he just committed the first aid kit. I think he gets spooked there. Understandable, though. Completely understandable.
SWAT Europa do have Eclipse on a recall tower, so they will be getting back up to 4. You can see, yeah, they're always immediately back up and in action. The Boars sent SnowX down. He was their recall anchor in Stadium. He was looting through there the whole time. They were scrapping out in Neox. Now the 3 players up in the north side for the Boars who are still looting through the remnants of Stadium are going to try and regroup on towards SnowX, who is now central, just southwest of Yulin. In this zone, but they don't have super long to get there. Other teams will start to get involved, get in and amongst it on that area.
SnowX started really early, went down towards that south side, created an anchor for them, and the rest of the team's going to move on top of that one. Rinjiang around this big old stretch of water. You kind of get crunched in a little bit there for Yara crew, but I think they've had a lot of time to set up around here, a lot of time to gather that information, so they should be just fine. Kodiak was also very quick to rotate, John. They were able to get themselves over on the eastern edge, but most of the fighting has died down, and I think this is probably one of our most quiet rondos, actually, at the beginning.
I think you might be right. I mean, we normally see teams still stuck in fights now at this stage, but we are sort of fairly free into a rotational period on this one, which, yeah, does indicate that our teams will have sort of calmed down a little bit. You can see 64 players are alive, meaning that there have been no sticking casualties onto this one, not just yet. I think this is 34 eliminations so far earned on the tables, but it's fairly flat, and a lot of the teams chasing have very similar elimination counts, right? The Boars on 2, Gods Reborn on 4, 3 and 3 for Kodiak and Golden Guardians. No big standouts at the early phase.
It's very quiet, and again, sort of makes sense as well, because for everyone fighting on this table, you don't want to give any one team too many points, right? I think at this stage, you'd rather keep things fairly locked in place. And the only teams that are really going to battle out for those more points is where it absolutely counts. Like Golden Guardians, like Kodiak, like Boars. And those were sort of the teams that did go for the quick engagements. It's just funnily enough that Kodiak and Boars sort of only find one another. They're like, oh, it's only us going for this, I guess. So pretty much just cancelled it out.
It's the first time we saw Boars send in hot drop representatives to that one. Okay, the Rinjang position for Hatyara crew just got a little bit unstuck by that circle. Hard southeast shift on this one. That water will be a boundary to the teams on the northwest side, like Ritzy, like Gods Reborn, but they're looking to get past it nice and early. TBSS as well are very close by to this one, and getting down towards Hungshan might be the port of call for a lot of our teams, although getting in towards the areas in Hungshan, that is very, very dangerous, because you're basically on full surround by everybody in this LGBT. Gods Reborn starting to move in to one of those areas to the north of Hungshan. Yeah, a flat basin in the middle of this one, so very, very dangerous to go all the way in and commit.
So it's funny on this soap because it's actually really, really difficult to play on the rotate in. Once you're in, it's sort of fine. PSS here, currently going up against Gods Reborn. Not doing terribly. This gentleman will CO towards Ronin, gets one S12K shot off, but the rest of Gods Reborn are now in, and it's Ronin alone. No help from his teammates. Will go down. But as I was saying, it's a difficult circle to work with because if you want to rotate in on the western side, there's a few bridges. It's very specific areas you need to rotate in from. So most teams have to come in from the north or the east. Wrapping south, also kind of hard with how much of a shift this was down towards the south side anyway. Hongshan can hold up to 3 or 4 teams in that area. Incredible that this is so central too, John, on that side of the map. I don't think I've seen Hongshan as central as this before.
Yeah, it's an interesting position. I mean, the crossroads of Hongshan is... yeah, it's pretty nasty, I think. But being in there isn't a guarantee of survival. I mean, it's very, very dangerous to try and leave it, and we're only in stage 2. It very much could go to any area of this one. Hatyara crew in a really, really well-defended position right now on the western side. They've got brilliant oversight towards the north approach with that water barrier in front of them. They've got oversight across anybody trying to move in from the west side. I mean, this is all pretty great. Ritzy trying to take the fight, trying to go toe-to-toe right now with Gods Reborn. Gods Reborn up on 8 eliminations blank. This is what I was talking about with Rondo. It can sort of all start to pop off out of nowhere. And Ritzy wanted to try and slow them down, but so far not been able to do so successfully.
Gods Reborn, this means a whole lot for them. They're currently in 4th place, looking to challenge out in 3rd, and 8 eliminations is a whole lot of points to grab.
Oh.
A potential of 4 more here, John, which will put them up towards 12.
Oh my goodness.
Incredible stuff at 11 minutes into the game.
Right now, they have thrown down the gauntlet. This is their opportunity, right? This is exactly what we were waiting for on a Rondo. For Gods Reborn, they are on the north side here. They are in blank, and their circle helps them out as well. Look at that shift going all the way up north. They are now slap bang in the center. The teams in Hungshan are going to find it really difficult to move up, and that includes the Boars. They can stay put for a little while longer, but Rain are going to start to move in around them. TBSS, who have managed to get up as full 4, are going to control that north side, and Hatyara crew have a bit of a lockdown on the west edge as well.
Kind of amusing for Gods Reborn. They clear out this compound thinking, you know what, we need more points. More points is what we're looking for, and inadvertently clear out the now central compound on the map. It's all working out very well for them. Smelling a lot like roses this game. Kodiak, on the other hand, not so much. This is very much a difficult position to play, and Kodiak likely now down to just one player in Frizzo. Luckily, it is their best player on the day alive, hoping to keep the dreams alive here for the squad, but that's bad news for Kodiak. Really bad news with Gods Reborn currently knocking on their door.
Going for the recall. Frizio moving out to the northwest. There is one within striking distance at stage 3. It's still very possible for them to get those recalls. Still a couple minutes for those recall towers to be active. And they'll have to fly in from that northern side. The question is, where do they go, though? Because they're going to, I think, just have to go for the fight again against Team Demon as they move on southward.
Yeah, for Team Demon definitely in their way. And we're back in, and not only that, but dropping back in with pretty limited loot gear, having to resort all of that it's a very, very
Vehicles too.
long haul. Yeah, vehicles is a big deal. So for Kodiak, super diminished in terms of capability in this match, but getting back up to a 4 is pretty much the aim of the game right now. That's the first step.
But Gods Reborn at the forefront of my mind right now, on 144 points to Boar's current 166. They are 22 points behind on this game, with the potential to just keep putting dents in this one. Boars, this is what I was worried about for teams entering Hongshan, right? Is they're going to find it difficult to leave. How long will it take before teams start to fall around them right now? Because they need to survive late, start adding those placement points, because it is now in the point where every point really matters for them. They need to keep this pace going. During the previous stages, they were able to get 160 points over 2 days. Right now, they're getting towards the end of 1 day, and it's not going well. Yeah, okay. Kodiak do try and go for the fight again. Just going to have to leave once more. Last player. Yeah, he's not getting his team back up. Not this time. Will just take too long. Gets out of dodge, and Demon are happy for the point delivery.
And they are. That's kind of what we expected to see happen.
TBSS?
It's another TBSS game, potentially. I didn't mind teams going over towards Hongshan. It was extremely central off the back of a massively southern shift into a massively northern shift. I don't think you can really predict that, and I think that playing Hongshan here is not a horrible decision if you can get there early enough, which Boars definitely could. Takimi finding shots over towards that Yara crew. Frizzo is out, and so is Kodiak, opening up the gateway now for squads underneath them, particularly Gods Reborn.
Yara crew locking horns right now. The Battle of the Red Logos with Cherry Mortar. Loco moving into position, looking to try and get the res onto Calais. Needs to have his teammates holding down the angle, and AZM is ready for it. Ready for the fight. Looks for the knock and gets the flush as well. AZM now trying to stymie Lazzy as he moves on forwards from the position that Yara crew have been holding for a while. The nade on in blasts him back. Needs to get in before the bullets find their way over to him, and AZM has to hold the line. The reses haven't come through yet for Yara crew. They're just trying to go into this fight raw, and Calais will go down fully. The flush comes in, and in plows Rain from the south side. This is nasty news for Yara crew. Sure, they're really not too worried about what's going on, but on the tables, but they don't want to go out like this on the rondo. AZM steps in, and is now the last to stand for them. They will lose another. As Loco, the last to stand. Hang on a minute, where's Rain? And here's Boars. Okay, this is a big pickup for the Boars to rotate out this fast.
Yeah, there's loads of eliminations to be found here. Quick Smoke goes down. Snowix knows, absolutely knows, and Loco will have to go for something a little bit crazy. Goes extremely low here now. Molotov through the top windows could be not a bad idea, but a good guess, a great guess, in fact, coming from Robs on the corner. Now looking to take down Team Rain as well. This team does need points. We said they needed a ginormous match here, and this might just be the beginning of it. Though Havoc also are now looking to make a name for themselves on the southeast side.
In the meantime, blank TBSS gave ground to Alpi on the east side of their area. Got Golden Guardians actually taking up position around that recall tower. I think they just missed out on being able to activate it and get back to 4. Potentially have someone in the sky. We'll have to wait and see if they are playing back up as 4. But time is ticking away, and that north side is starting to settle. All the meanwhile, though, Boars are moving up the rankings. They were able to add another point to their tally. Rain could slow that down, could slow their progress, or they could deliver points that will keep the Boars alive in their second place scenario. Bully with a nade up top, looking to try and plant it at Robs' feet. Will not find it, and Anna falls in the back line. Now with one more player, Rain may have delivered 3 more points to the Boars.
One more good airburst will all it takes. I've gone a little bit far there. It was an amazing nade coming through from Snowix, but now Boars do need to look behind them because it is Havoc being a bit of a problem, but Roms will send another blinder their way. And finds a good one to start things off.
Gods Reborn have been quiet for a while now. They're up to 13. They were able to find a point from somewhere, but it's up to the Boars now with switching that focus away from the chasers and to the chased. They are looking to put some distance between them God's Reborn behind them on the tables. Spray downs, the flex out. Boars trying to play the hillside, but Rain will just have a little bit more staying power than maybe they bargained for. First knock goes over to Terminus, and the Boars now starting to overwhelm the position, starting to add those points in. Bully, the last stand. Robs is in danger there and goes down to the shotgun. 2 players now down for the Boars. 4 eliminations found. Anna is a 5th that's bleeding out the back line, but it would be too little for them to be safe against God's Reborn. They do pick it up, and that is another point added. Another team down. The placements are just around the corner too.
The thing with that is, I think it was completely unnecessary from Robs to make that push. I understand why they did that, though. They want to conclude this fight as quickly as possible. They know they've got more teams trying to assault this location, so they want to get as many players down as possible from positions they know are going to be a bit of a problem later on. So they go down to 3 here, 6 eliminations, but that just ties them equal with Yara crew, so they need to look for more. Like I said, it requires 2 massive chicken dinners here for Boars to even think about getting a first place, but the name of the game is not the first place for them right now. The name of the game is getting further ahead of 3rd. And with Kodiak going down early here, it's looking a lot more promising for them going through to PMGO, which I do think would have been a massive upset.
Definitely would do. They are fighting for it. They're trying to show just why they deserve that spot. Nothing is given, everything needs to be earned. Havoc looking to try and slow Epsilon Axu with a last deflects out from Hongshan, and actually might be the ultimate edge guarders on this position. Out to the side, Wings will fall down last, and Epsilon Axe with a full guard against the Boars. 3 players on the Boars side now, and they are trapped on in. It is a fight against Epsilon. When do they choose to go for it, though? Because they've got this high ground. They're looking at shots towards the north. Pick up some more points. They're on 7 now.
Yeah, they're in a great position. I mean, as a 3, it's a little bit more diminished, right, in terms of staying power on this hillside. But they're also locked in. They are absolutely locked in. Barring crossing the water, they have to play here or get rid of Epsilon Axe. Now, Epsilon Axe hasn't always had the best track record throughout the entirety of this finals, but as a 4 versus 3, where they know exactly where they're coming from, it looks a little bit more promising. God's Reborn will take down yet another team, putting their total up to 15 eliminations on this match.
So far, they still have a little bit more to go. 7 teams now remain as Golden Guardians really suffering on the inside here, trying to make their way through. I mean, God's Reborn, I feel like they are in a game-winning position here, Blank. They are now looking at a 2-1-1 split. They're navigating the open ground between these 2 skirmish areas. The south that is so linearized by the water and this settlement, this urban environment. The nades are being traded back and forth. TBSS giving ground, I think, is one of the best decisions they've made so far this game. And they continue to impress with their rotational skills. They haven't managed to get too many points for it, Blank, but it's impressive nonetheless.
I mean, that's sort of how TBSS plays, right? Is that every single match, I think they're just looking to get further into these games. It's more experience. I think they understand that it's not likely they're getting into a second place. These are some great names from Team Demon, by the way. Oh my god.
Golden Guardians want some of that as well, but they're denied. These nades just keep on barreling over the top. Those silos not keeping them safe. Just Tikas now remains, and he's in the blue zone. Shots from the off angle. TBSS starting to marshal their forces forwards. They see this Elim feed lighting up, and they know they have a little bit more flexibility. Team Demon have been devilish to all of these teams around them, and the fight on the southwest is popping off too. Boars just cleared out Epsilon Axe Blank. They've given themselves a little bit of headroom to move around. They're up to 9 elims, and with God's Reborn on 18 elims, they do need to keep this one surviving. It is so down to the wire. Top 5 now with 9 elims. They are keeping going. Not quite at pace with God's Reborn, but still in this one, tenacious as ever.
They just need to stay barely ahead. That's it. That's the only difference between them going to PMGO and not. For God's Reborn, this is a bit of a sprint towards the end of the day from them. A last hurrah. God's Reborn definitely maybe kicking themselves a little bit because they were assisting the Boars finishing that engagement versus Epsilon Axe. They took a lot of shots over towards them, took them out. Not something you can figure out on the fly, though, unfortunately. So you take what you can get. They did get some points off the back of it. Yeah, for Boars, ideally a 3rd place here.
I'd like to see it. They're up into 4th guaranteed. I mean, this is really nasty stuff. Right now, the points differential sits at 9 points earned from God's Reborn on this game against the Boars tally, right? With those 18 elims. It is just a question of these placements and more elims to be found. Still around the corner. 18 on the cards is absolutely absolutely incredible already, Blank, with 4 teams remaining, a potential of 10 more elims in the lobby for them if they're able to isolate these fights. I mean, this could be a record-breaking rondo, and at such an important moment. But if Team Demon are going to keep lighting things up, they might be able to take some of these points away. And they're on 11 elims themselves. They'd love to get stuck in. One of the latest finishes for them as well, already in a 4th place with a huge points gain.
Yeah, getting slightly better as time goes on, but there's one of the points taken away, and our hopes at the 40-point game is being dashed in front of our eyes right now.
Boar's moving Snowix forwards. Rob's moving in behind him now under cover of Agnazada. They know God's Reborn are moving, and actually... Oh, okay, Gentleman might be in a pretty important position here. I don't think he quite has angle over towards the forward spot for the Boars as they regroup around the northern side of this lake.
That's the best thing he can do here. Can she actually take some massive hit? I don't know where from. Rob's waiting for this loot crate to drop down. Hopefully something good inside that they can work with. TPSS just lining up. I think most of the guns are pointing their way. See if God's Reborn can finish strong themselves a chicken dinner on this one. Or can Boars clean it out with just the 3 they have and really solidify their 2nd place?
I mean, we said this rondo could be exciting. Blank, it's delivering. With an 18 elim game guaranteed for God's Reborn, they have 4 players. They've got high ground on the east side. They have oversight onto all of the Boars maneuvers as well. The circle keeps them in just on that high ground. They'll want to extend their influence. It's going to remove the high ground position for Agnazada as well. He's going to have to leave from that mountain and flow in with the rest of them. Can he get the value whilst it's still there? A nade over towards Azur as well. They want to rack up 20 elims early, and God's Reborn are in a great position to do so. If they move out and flex on the north, they might just be able to get it done. 10 elims for the Boars, 19 for God's Reborn. This is the Boars giving the lobby as good as they get on this time around, but this could be a massive difference maker. He's looking for the flush. He's able to find it, and now God's Reborn are playing on a 3. TBSS can start to move in as they're more preoccupied with Eurozada, who could have just played spoiler to the God's Reborn Ascension.
In a big way. Losing one player here is a really massive deal, especially when you want to silhouette across this hillside. You need as many guns pointing at the enemy as possible, and now they just lost one of them. It's a massive deal for God's Reborn, and TBSS looking to close out a game after being pipped to the post so many times today at that chicken dinner.
1 elim for TBSS. They are not happy. Agnazada making the move, and God's Reborn not able to land the shots just yet. Going very, very low. There's the answer. Where did that come from? All right, Snowix is able to land the shots, and that takes a helmet off of God's Reborn as well. With Agnazada regrouped, you can get the healing, and that was their opportunity to really stop the Boars. Robs and Snowix now moving forwards over towards TBSS. With 4 players on side, that's a lot of points to be earned for either team that can take them down.
Oh, hello. Back away from that one. Good shot from Gentleman over towards Tornado, though, as that sticky bomb did push him out of position. And now the nades are starting to flow over the top, and TBSS are losing steam towards this endgame. Very important that Snowix got that knock over towards XYZ, by the way. If that didn't happen, then Agnazada certainly goes down. He was on the barest amount of HP.
And it also removes those sightlines, right? Whilst they have one player knocked, one player sticking the res. They have so much more freedom to move, and they've used that really, really well to their advantage. With 10 elims and a 3rd place guaranteed, Boars Gaming are putting in the effort to stay alive in 2nd place. Albana just about ducking behind that. The circle moves away from God's Reborn. This is their time. They need to make it down, and they need to do so successfully to transition away, because the Boars have the line up right now. They have full broadside on this circle.
Good stuff from Robs. Knows he has to back away from there. They've been keeping tabs over towards God's Reborn. They realise that TBSS is being very passive in their approach. The big problem is this team. God's Reborn on this high ground who have to come off of it. Everyone else is going to sit still, sit pretty. Another kind of interesting maneuver coming through from Albana. I know what he's trying to do, trying to create a little ditch there with the nade, but with this angle on the high ground, it's not enough of protection.
Low ammo count as well for XYZ. Probably moving over to Kashi to get a resupply. No, okay. They're just going to try and divvy it up. They're waiting for peaks now. Oh, this is so galling for the Gods Reborn. What a massive run on this game for them. But the Boars are still alive. And with 10 elims blank, they're pretty much locking in, assuming that TBSS go down next. A pretty quite slow roll up there, and the front bumper emerging through the smoke takes them out. They're up to 23 elims. They've made a 13-point profit right now. 3 more points would be a 16 points plus the 4 extra for second to first. They could put a big dent in, but it's so far diminished from what it could have been if the Boars had gone down earlier, if they weren't able to win that conflict on the southwest.
Yeah, I mean, Boars have put in a massive amount of work this game. You've got to give them credit for that, but 23 eliminations for Gods Reborn. It is an incredible match so far for them, but like you say, it's the wind has been pulled out of the sails somewhat here for Gods Reborn. See how they play this endgame. Right now, it's a small amount, but there is still quite a bit of water in here. But this bank just makes it so hard for Gods Reborn to win. It's a hard game to lose for Boars, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Which is, I mean, imagine having a 23 elim second place and you're like, yeah, we've put a massive dent in the gap. No, you haven't. Because there is just that little problem of the fact that the Boars are potentially going to be the ones to take you down, but they'll give it a go. They've been on the warpath. Can they find an opener? Nades over the top from Gods Reborn. Looking to try and close it down. Smoke's playing close to the riverbank. I like this coming on through. And Gods Reborn have taken a lot of damage. Gentlemen, very, very low. Still very much under threat. Rob's not standing up just yet. The nades being cooked from Boars, not quite finding the mark. Can they get the healing off? There's still more nades. They're barreling down the hillside, and Gentleman does get the heal off. They are closer now, but the blue zone marches forwards. Rob's is being so quiet, so sneaky, waiting for the time to strike, and there it is. 1-for-1 on the trade. Doesn't manage to find a second, but he takes another very, very low. That nade is there. Stoic steps up, can't quite find the trade. Moving forwards, they need to keep it going. Kashi and XYZ will lose one more, and now it's all up to XYZ. The car blasted out of the way. There's no helmet, and the Boars take them down. Gods Reborn denied access to the top 2.
It's a critical moment there for the Boars. They needed that win so badly. But very well played from that south side, taking their time, rotating onto the bank, understanding that that is going to give them a huge amount of space to work around with. They cleared the right sides, they pulled away from TBSS when they knew the Gods Reborn was going to have some time getting down on the east, but they wanted to clear that area first, make sure they didn't wrap on that side. It's a very well played game from Boars. That it has to be stated. The 3 guys here from Rob, Snowix, as well as Wagnerzada. What an incredible game from these 3.
23 points on that match blank. They were able to earn 13 elims at the end of that match. Really, really solid result for them. That's going to put them actually pretty close to Hatyara crew, all things considered, off of that game. You said they needed back-to-back chicken dinners. They start off with 1. I mean, for Gods Reborn, though, what an unfortunate circle setup as well. They had such a brilliant high ground on the east side, and they're chasing it down. But that goalpost just keeps on moving away, and the Boars, I mean, it was the only way. It was the only way that they kept Gods Reborn out of there.
Yeah, I mean, for Gods Reborn, they were having such a good game. They lose 1 player. It was really down to the wire. If Snoix doesn't assist on Wagnerzada's swing round, right, and find that knockout XYZ and Wagnerzada goes down, very different game. Very, very different game.
Yeah, 29 points earned, though, still. That point swing could have been so huge as well, because, I mean, just from going first to second, if you're talking about their relative place on the standings, that is an 8-point swing just for winning that final fight. When you include those elims, that comes out to being, I think, a 20-point swing potential. No, that's way over. That's way over-egging it. But yeah, a sort of 15-point swing between those 2 teams potentially could have come through based on that. And the gap between them really isn't that big. Really, really is not that big when it comes to the gap that's left. Boars obviously getting pretty hefty heap of points, though. And the fact that you're only able to put a dent of 6 points in between Gods Reborn off a game like that and the Boars gaming bubble, Oh man, that is shocking. That is shocking.
Yeah, it is sad. It is very, very sad for Gods Reborn, because what an effort they put in. But what I will say, John, is that although it is a little bit sad catching up that much to second place, people aren't really going to be catching up to you in third either. So I think you can be quite happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, eyes on the prize, sure, but maybe some contentment with what you've got. There's still one more game to play. And if Gods Reborn are able to do it again on Miramar, then maybe. But that chance now is just a glint in their eye to be able to find it. 29 points, a 6-point profit over Boars. Yeah, so that's really nasty stuff.
Yeah, it's sad to see. I mean, going towards that end of the game and finding that it's Boars that you're going up against, nightmare, absolute nightmare. Could have been a 33-pointer. 23 elims is the most we've seen this entire tournament as well, from start to finish. So a huge game from Gods Reborn, a really gargantuan effort, stymied by the absolute reluctance from Boars to fall down the tables. They do not want to let anyone go to the PMGO other than themselves right now. Again, for Pubgm, this is more of a reputation thing at this point in time. I think everyone that looked at them going into this one like, this team should go to PMGO, not I want them to go to PMGO. So I'm glad that they're able to hold on right at the end here, but it is definitely sad for Gods Reborn.
Yeah, the question, it was really at the start, who's going to PMGO with the Boars, right? That was sort of the framing of this one. But yeah, they've been through it. They've been through the ringer. And to be fair, Yara Crew just did something absolutely insane in day one and the start of day two. Since then, they have just sort of been chugging along, just about over doubling their total points at the end of day one over the next 2 days. So definitely taking a back seat in terms of the firepower moving on in. But with that last match as well, Vaknazada is up for the challenge. She's stepped up to the damage metrics of Loco, so it is going to be down to this last match. Well, depending on how heavily knockouts are weighed, because Loco does have a significant margin more. Gods Reborn, 151. Boars Gaming started the match on 164. That would be so close if Boars hadn't also went 23 points.
Yeah, but still 11 points ahead of Kodiak. They are 16 points ahead of Golden Guardian. It's a good game to finish things out and close it down in third place on our final match of the day. Right now for Boars, they are quite a few points behind that Yara Crew. Right, we are looking at 21 points that they would need to profit on this next match, just to see themselves even. So I think, whilst possible, I did just ask for Boss to get 2 chicken dinners in a row. They started with 1. How likely is it for them to get a second? I would say not super likely.
Well, stranger things have happened. I mean, Gods Reborn could also still jump that gap if they're lucky, if they're able to find a massive game and the Boars go down very, very early. If you're Gods Reborn, do you hot drop Boars in this scenario? You put quite a distance between you and fourth place. I mean, it's not comfortable,
no,
but
you do
it's
not.
your chance at qualifying. You know, it's your one chance at going for it. I mean, take that opportunity and hot drop.
They're too far away. They are honestly too far away. Like, they can't catch up, I don't think, right now. They're way too far behind. They would have had to, basically, Boars would have had to just lose that last match, and for them to get a 33-point game. Then, maybe then, it would be possible. But right now, it is just third place.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably right. They were 42 points behind at the start of that last match. They profited 6 points. So, yeah, they're going to be 36 points difference. So, 26 Elim chicken dinner. And that's only a draw. So, 27 Elim chicken dinner. That's what they're going to have to try and go for. Probably not possible. The Boars are happy. We'll see you guys for our final match, Miramar, to see just how far our teams can go. And if something crazier could happen. We'll have to wait for a few minutes. We've got some highlights first. We'll see you guys there. I mean, that is such an important final battle from that highlight reel. Goodness me. It's so important plays coming through. The fact that the Boars were even able to get out of the southwest side of that circle as well, Blank, from where they were playing up on that high ground, locked in with Epsilon Axe, with Yara crew, with, I think, Havoc as well, as Rain. All of those teams were fighting in that area, and they come through with 3. They're able to land that crazy shot from SnowX up to XYZ, and they kind of have sealed the deal here.
It's a sad one as well, because Gods Reborn actually helped Boars during that, where they're assisting on that engagement between them and Epsilon Axe. But what can you do? You can't know these things for certain, right? In the moment, for Gods Reborn, for them, it's like that's kills we can steal. Those are eliminations we can grab for ourselves. So I do feel for him, but there's so many little things that could have changed the course of that game. In the end, Boars just played better. They just played better. They understood the circle better, and for Gods Reborn, they kind of just peter out from there onwards. But we are heading in towards our final match now. We did crunch the numbers behind the scenes. I think we were saying it's a 22-point game that Boars would need, and for Hat Yara to get 0. They would win the tiebreaker, because to get a 22-point game, you sort of need the chicken dinner. You could get a 16 E-limmer, but that's not very often you see that on Miramar. Very, very rare. I think the last time we saw that was from... which team was it?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. When they were on the high ground. Demuerte, was it?
I think it was Demuerte, who got themselves a 27 E-lim game. I think was probably the most insane match of all time.
Pretty close to it. I mean, from a single team, sure. I think most insane match of all time probably is the London Grand Finals of PMGC, the final match. That's probably the most insane game of all time, I think it's safe to say. The East Island finish with a 1-point difference for the title, that was pretty nuts. But yeah, I think for a single game performance to Muerte with those high ground positions was crazy. Was Fagnazada on that roster?
I don't think so. I think it was like Freezer and all that. From way back when. I'm pretty sure it was Freezer, who was super talented. What happened to him, man?
Yeah, well, he's not in this tournament. Maybe he's in a different region. I have to double check. But we have to refocus in on this one. The Boars with an opportunity, as you say, to take this one early.
Brute force. It wasn't a Muerte. Apologies.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. That makes so much more sense. Was Fagnazada on brute force?
Let's find out.
Yeah, I think.
Don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, no, I don't think so. But still, yeah, let's move on from that because at the moment it's the Boars looking to try and hold their second as well as push towards first. It's more than likely they've done enough to hold their second place. I mean, unless Gods Reborn do get just like the most insane game, as we were talking about before, right? They do need a 28 elim chicken dinner for Boars to get 0 points. And actually, no, I think they might need a 29-point chicken dinner or something like that. Yeah, so pretty much done and dusted there, which is so unfortunate, given what could have been back-to-back chicken dinner from Gods Reborn.
Yeah, it would have been awesome. Would have been absolutely awesome, but not meant to be. We are heading down towards the southeast side of the map in a very big way. Yara crew actually starting over towards Hacienda, which is a little bit different from... Wait a minute. Or starting in Impala.
The plane path was fairly east-leaning, right? So I think that's probably why we're seeing these readjustments coming through.
Yeah, but Yara crew usually plays down towards Impala. You think Boars are actually trying to hot drop them?
Ooh. Okay, interesting. Maybe.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, it works out really well for Boars. Not so great for Yara crew. I mean, they avoid the hot drop, but they give one of the best positions in this circle away to Boars Gaming.
If I'm Gods Reborn though, I'm pulling a Kodiak. I am just going for fights right now. 151, they're only 11 points ahead of Kodiak themselves, and could potentially lose out on that third place cash. That's a $500 difference, right, between those two. But with the potential upside in the longest of shots to jump up into second, get $4,000 over the $2,450 for third place, and get that qualification spot. If I'm Gods Reborn, I feel like this is the choice. This is the sort of choice you make. Do you just go for it and try and qualify? How many more times are you going to have this opportunity?
Yeah, you're just gonna give it a go. Go for the old Kodiak Erangel special. First circle already closing in. Get deeper and deeper into this final match of the PMGO Western Europe Finals, which has been a treat to watch. It's been really fun. It's definitely been a pleasure to be here. I hope everyone who's been watching and following has also enjoyed it just as much as we have. Obviously, it has been a little bit lopsided in terms of the scorelines, where we sort of knew who was winning in day one. But regardless, it's been a really, really fun time to watch. So I hope everyone who has tuned in has enjoyed themselves. We appreciate you being here. Western Europe, very cool region. We're always producing new talent all the time, I would say. And TBSS is a great example. Is that, you know, I don't think they're in for a top 5. But what they certainly are in for is a return. I would love to see this team come back, you know, work on it in the meantime. Similar to Golden Guardians. I mean, Golden Guardians also a super cool team. I haven't liked some of their plays, but majority of the time really good. But a lot of players that I'm not massively familiar with, which is sick. Same for Kodiak. I think Kodiak has a huge amount of potential in the future. And they better stay together. Okay, they better stay together.
Yeah, there's definitely some potential there. They did have a little bit of a faltering though earlier on, and you just sort of think, you know, if day one, a bit of day two as well, was a little bit brighter for them, this is a team that's challenging Boars right now, right? They are 47 points behind. They definitely could have picked those points up over the 2 days if you improve the results that they were seeing. The fact that they're up here in 4th right now is also, you know, just goes to show how much they've been able to pick up the pace moving forwards into the later stages of these finals. So, a little knock to the confidence took them quite a while to recover from, and maybe that's something they need to look at and address. Yara Crew, close by to the Boars, trying to be looked at and addressed by Magnazada. Not only does he want to take the Yara Crew squad down, but he also wants to take Loco out of the running for MVP.
Should be good, okay? Because Loco's held on to that for a long, long time now. Getting him off that top spot. Regaining his position from in those knockouts would be fun. Yara Crew playing it really safe. As safe as they can. I think they still managed to get fairly deep into the circle somehow. Boars directly near them. Interesting.
Yeah, they're staying at arm's distance. Hoxie, ooh, okay. Golden Guardians find a shot over to Kodiak, get flush as well. Looking for a little bit more on the east side of Los Leones, southeast point of it. The Guardians are staking their claim to their territory. No Kodiaks allowed. They will turn them away. A point earned. Potential to jump up over them on the tables. Pretty close there around 4th.
But yeah, losing one player early, man. Ooh, it's not good. So we got Golden Guardians finding shots over towards Havoc. Golden Guardians looking for maybe a 4th place here. They're only 4 points behind now. And Kodiak losing a player. I think Kodiak's definitely run out of steam a little bit towards the end of this tournament. It is sad to see. That is a nasty shot from Musa. Luckily, Hoxie is there.
Faker's also there, though. They are going to trade back and forth. Faker goes down, though. So Golden Guardians now with one more player to deal with, and they're looking to clip wings out of the lobby and put them away for their tournament. This is, of course, the last match of the tournament, and Havoc being on one player, the closest team to getting fully eliminated here and having their run solidified. Down on the back page. Have not really been able to pick up the pace, unfortunately, for them. Yeah, Golden Guardians, they're going to be able to get back up to 4, get back fighting fit. Next circle coming on soon, blank. And I think this fight might be a disengage coming through from Havoc if they can get away with it. But where do they go? Maybe they can't disengage. Next circle comes on in.
Ooh, okay, down towards the southeast side. So you do have this big old slope down towards that southeast, down towards Puerto Paraíso. Really uncomfortable circle. A lot of high ground wants to be taken early on this one. Yara crew being able to basically spearhead a path through towards that southeast side. Now have a really big chance on this game to prevent Boars from attempting to grab their spot off them. Right, this is a good position to be in. They can raise the shield, block any kind of strike that Boars might want to go for.
It's about getting a couple of points on the cards here for Yara crew. They can play for a 6 to 10 point game, like you were talking about before, for the Boars to defend their second place spot. For Yara crew, 6 to 10 points would be phenomenal, just to make it that much harder for the Boars to jump on up. We said 22 points to reach the tiebreaker, and likely would win it out. They're getting a chicken dinner with those 22 points. It would win that tiebreaker. But you put 6 more points on, all of a sudden, you're asking them to get an 18 elim chicken dinner, right? That's very, very unlikely. Any more than that, it starts to get a little bit fanciful, especially if Kodiak's going to spot Robs. And if he goes down here, that could be nasty. The Boars clashing with Kodiak, the nade on the inside. Snowex looking to try and punish the approaching Momodal, and Robs is really at risk here. Another player could fall, and the Boars might have their run ended early. Momodal, though, yet to commit for this flashback. Nazada spotted, has to dart around, giving him the do-si-do, just about gets to cover. A step out. They really want to keep Robs alive, but they don't quite find it. Momodal, so cruel. That is nasty stuff coming through. Steps out for the point, and the Boars... Oh my goodness me, they're getting bullied a couple times today, I'm pretty sure.
No way. You don't even try and take the fight, you just try and get the flush. That's hilarious. Well, I think that might be the run done. I truly believe that if you wanted to get a 12 elim game with a chicken dinner, at this stage of the match, having 3 players is not enough. Which is sad to say. So... it may be over here for the Boars already, and we're only 10 minutes into the game. That's sad.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate stuff there. I mean, it was a solo rep from Kodiak. They're 2 players, and one of them's in Los Leones. So fair enough that you're just trying to confirm the point. You know you're going down, most likely, in that scenario. I don't think it's necessarily fully BM. It is a little bit BM, though. And so that's the issue we're taking with it. In the meantime, the Cherry Mortem going toe-to-toe with SWAT Europa. Both of these 2 teams have had their ups and downs over the course of these finals. SWAT Europa had some sort of quite miraculous situations unfold. The circle does help out the 3-player Boars, though. With that shift, keeps Puerto Paraíso in, but it also helps out Yara crew on the southeast side, and it's looking more and more likely that they're going to be able to earn a couple points on this one.
Yeah, I think for Yara crew, it's looking a lot more promising from that southeast edge. I feel bad for Boars there. Man, they were trying to keep Robs alive. The fact that he swings round, doesn't even look at who's shooting him, just blasts Robs' face in. Yeah, wild stuff. Very, very wild stuff.
That's points. For Kodiak, to be fair, they're looking to try and jump up to 3rd place, so every point does matter for them. They're hoping the Gods Reborn can't make it through. Golden Guardians might be the team to take them down on the south coast. The Boars are pretty close to the Gods Reborn squad as well. Okay. I don't know if Sharps realised there was an enemy player there. And he's going to spray down 2 of them. Okay, that's a pretty solid result for the fight. Taper doing bits there.
Yeah, good job. Nice stuff. It's definitely slowing down a lot as we head into stage 3 here, John. 13 minutes. Everyone's found a little slice of the pie, pretty much, to play in from. No one's too worried about what the game plan is for them. You know what is weird for me though is that Team Demon chooses this game out of all the games to play super safe on the southeast. Like, come on, guys, you gotta lean into who you are.
They, they got a late finish in the last match, and they're like,
Wow,
we got
feels good.
so many more points
That
for
felt
that,
good,
guys.
that, actually.
Is that what we're supposed to be doing? Nobody told us. Goodness me. All right. Well, yeah, they're going to send it. Then Puerto Paraiso having a hopefully relaxing time whilst everyone else is sweating like a boar.
And they are sweating profusely with the 3 players they have. Though, again, I think that they realise they're super safe. They're just going to play this game out. That's basically the best they can do. The Hatyara crew, I don't think they're in much danger in the position they're in on this eastern edge. So, again, I don't see either of these teams moving too much on the leaderboards from now on. The teams we're sort of looking at is probably Golden Guardians. They would have to have a really big approach over towards Gods Reborn, but they've already started with 4 elims, so it is a lot less than we initially expected. So I think it's 12 points that they need from here on out, which is very doable for Golden Guardians in the position they're in on the south side. They do need to move a little bit further up.
Yeah, Gods Reborn currently cut out on the south side. So, yeah, Golden Guardians, with that 12 points needed to close that gap for the podium, they can stay a little bit secure right now, but they're right in the shadow of Hatyara crew, who have got the opening of that ramp to play around. Last player from Kodiak, well, sorry, no, there's 2 players from Kodiak, but it's fairly certain soon to be 1. They were, again, very split from one another, and that's a quick roll down. Iwini is going to fall. So 1 player now for Kodiak. A potential tournament topper, potential second place holder, but no, they will not be able to go the distance. They just haven't got the legs in this final.
I think for Kodiak, it's been a tough one. I think they've had a lot of ups and downs, and this is what happens when you play like the way they did in those knockouts, right? They played like they ruled the world, and then you go up against a consistent 16 of really strong squads. You can't play like that anymore. And I think they've had to adjust a little bit, but that adjustment's coming a little bit too late. Because again, I think today and yesterday not been bad at all from Kodiak. I think they've really improved on their gameplay, and they've been playing a lot slower, a lot less aggressive. But those changes came in a little bit late.
Maybe coming into it a little bit overconfident from their performance previously. Shotgun shell around the edge of the rock there. Jerry Morton gets the opener. LP have been trying to run them down for a while, but yeah, that's the off angle coming through. That's the balls getting involved, I believe. Because LP also takes shots from the angles, but Takimi is having a good go here. The spray downs come through. Hang on a minute, no, that's SWAT Europa from just over down on the southeast side. And by SWAT Europa, I mean Oscuro. He's the last and only player for SWAT Europa, and he just took half of those points.
Just took it all. He just swiped all of those for himself. I mean, Oscuro's been an incredible player. I think as a standout for SWAT Europa, he has done fantastically well. But we will be saying goodbye to Alp Esports already. 1715, Epsilon Axe, and Team Rain. All these teams going out fairly early into this one. Cherry Mortem. Also, it's a slightly disappointing result, I would say, for Cherry Mortem. But somewhat understandable, because I think the main thing that stood out for me about their knockout stage was their teamwork. Their teamwork was really good, but did they have one individual standout player or any standout players? I don't think so. That sounds cruel. That sounds cruel. I don't mean it to be. I think that team, the standout part of that team is the team. They're very good at working with one another. I think the communication skills are really there. That team needs a little bit more time in the oven, though, I would say. But they are promising. But for me, I was just a little bit sad to see how well they didn't do, say, in this finals.
TBSS also got eliminated. They tried to move in on that east side, still holding that accolade that we've given them. An unofficial one at that, but definitely most improved roster in this tournament. Sort of scraped by in terms of getting those qualification spots. Really didn't make a mark, but just continuously in these finals making good rotational decisions, and much more importantly, improving rotational decisions. It has been a treat to watch them start to stack up.
Yeah.
Probably still not quite there in terms of gun skill. I think that's one of their major downfalls, but they're getting those fundamentals locked in to give themselves more favorable fights, and hopefully to learn into the future how they can give themselves those better opportunities, because often fights are won before you even start to turn corners.
Absolutely. And I think for TBSS, the thing was they play very safe. They don't try and carve out areas of the map. A lot of times they'll give ground. They'll give ground smartly. And I think the more they played, the more they realized, okay, this is where we can get into the circle. This is how we should play as four. I remember the days when TBSS was like 10 minutes late to get into the circle on Miramar. Not the case anymore. So yeah, I do think that they can stand proud with that title of our unofficial title of the most improved team in the lobby, which they absolutely are. I think they've done a real stand-up job this tournament to fix a lot of those errors that were quite clear to us and probably you guys at home watching earlier on.
Yeah, it's lovely to see. I hope to see much more from them in the future. Golden Guardians, they've been in their building for quite a while. Hatyara crew, very entrenched in this position. And again, this might be the Boars just not really being able to do too much about this. With 1 point already added, that adds it up to a 23-point chicken dinner necessary for the Boars. So needing their tallies go up to 13 now, and with every single placement point that are about to start to kick in, that number is only going to get higher and higher. As well, percentage points for 4 players in such a strong position. You expect them to be getting more points, and Loco able to add 1. Looking for more as well to the backline of Ritzy. Far Voice Gaming, though, going to chime in on that front and try and snaffle some of those down.
Hatyara crew as well as Boars Gaming both with 2 apiece. We're back to net 0, which means that Boars need to get even more eliminations on top of this. They would need to get a 14 elim game and a chicken dinner now. It's becoming more unlikely by the second, and Hatyara crew doesn't seem to be in any danger. Everyone, this is what typically happens. There's like 2 things that happen on a final match of any grand finals. Is either everyone is so overly aggressive, or nothing happens. And we had a bit of over-aggression early on in this game, and now we're back to pretty much just, it's a very dead lobby. We're not getting too much done. Everyone's just trying to hold on to positions, see where they are on the tables, and hopefully end there.
On the north side, Far Voice Gaming trying to jump up a couple places here. They do have some elevation possible. They get quite deep into this game. They are now just 3 points behind Epsilon Axe. A little bit further behind the teams in front of that, so not too much vertical that they can go for, but still possible to jump up, try and earn a little bit more cash. Sort Europa, last player to stand. 2 teams on solos right now, which means the placements can come through fairly quickly. And when you're right by the Boars, they would be happy to pick up that point, but if they take a team down now, Hatyara crew also get a placement point guaranteed to be locked in, and it will get harder and harder and harder. Kodiak, even with a solo though, they still got hands. They still got hands. And Far Voice find out all about it.
Yeah, I mean, Frizzo has packed a punch this tournament. That's to be certain. A really good player. But yeah, like you say, John, the more teams that start going down now, the more placement points they go towards the guys on Hatyara crew. We have round 2. Electric Boogaloo here between Boars Gaming and Gods Reborn.
It's pretty decidedly going the way of Boars right now. Gods Reborn already losing 1 on the approach. Snowex and Terminus playing on the back of the building. Kashi doesn't have the backup. XYZ moving in. Could potentially be a difference maker here, but they step out for the flush, looking for more knocks, and Gods Reborn are down to 1, busted back to play for the res there. And XYZ's looking to try and pick it up, but it's quite far away even now. Another point added for Hatyara crew, and they're sort of going neck and neck with Boars. So yeah, it is really getting pretty late now. 15 elimination chicken dinner for the Boars needed. And Hatyara crew have already, 16 now with a placement point guaranteed for Hatyara crew. So yeah, they need to start turning up the heat right now if they want to earn the points, because there almost isn't enough in the lobby. With 3 of them alive, there are 18 other players.
Yeah,
coming into this one.
With where Hatyara crew's playing as well, Tupac's just gonna deny himself. I think that's unfortunate. Swat Europa's already down. Snowex finding that one. the placement points start to kick in, and Yara Crew is in an incredibly safe position on the map. They did exactly what they needed to do this game, right? It's boring, it's not exciting, but it is going to keep them in first place.
Yeah, they're up to 5 points guaranteed now, meaning a 17 elimination chicken dinner needed for the Boars. They've only got 5 so far. And yeah, I think it's mathematically impossible for them to get up to first place now, with the 3 of them leaving 16 more players alive. Oh no, it's not quite, because they've already got 5 elims on side. So if they could like clear the whole lobby like right now, they might be able to do it.
It would
but,
be...
But they do need to take down Yara Crew first as well.
Yes, and they're on the other side of the lobby. So, very unlikely. Snowyx currently front to face here versus Gods Reborn, the last 2 players. I mean, Snowyx has had a real standout performance. Although, yes, not on the overall leaderboards. Ooh, goodness me. Okay, down to 1 player. And it's over. It's over. Yeah. Right, well, Boars will be taking their second place, and they'll be happy about their second place. That kind of went wrong very quickly on the side of Boars. Termina's looking to close this one down between them and Gods Reborn. Might be able to find a nasty nade. It's a good bouncer, or at least a good airburst. XYZ goes extremely low. But yeah, I think Snowyx underrated. Very underrated on that side. Not on the overall top players leaderboard, but the amount of times that he has saved the neck of his squad has been astounding. I mean, I remember even on, I think it was yesterday, where you've got Jakey moving up behind him, tries to get a pick onto one of the balls, and Snowyx was lightning fast on the trigger, seeing Jakey out in the blue. So denies even that point coming through there. But for Boars, it's been a great journey. It's been a great journey for them. They get second place. I don't think it's what they were hoping for, though, John.
No, they definitely had their sights set on first. But they'll qualify either way, right? And they can think about what has happened, how to address the issues that have been revealed to them moving forwards. And maybe they'll find themselves a little bit more comfortable on a global stage, whereas that Yara Crew may be a little bit more intimidating for them. They're on 4 players alive, 1 knock on the outside, Carlos doing a lot of damage, and all of a sudden, like a couple of Yara Crew are going to be going down. Team Demon, they're getting deep into these games like repeatedly now. Top 5 elims. That's the sort of run you need.
Yeah, figured it out apparently. Oh man, that Yara Crew goes down now. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. Well, now just Terminus alive in a 1v3v3. It'll be a hard game to finish out, but even still, not enough points in the lobby. They can stand tall though at the end of this game, that's for sure.
Terminus going on the hunt. Golden Guardians, they've been holding this building for a long time. They just sent there quite early on, and they might be able to take 3rd place away from Gods Reborn for it. Blank. They were fairly close by at the start of this one, and Gods Reborn didn't get too many on this match. A nice little spray down for Terminus. He's getting that first on the re-knock and goes boom. That's the Boars out. Second place locked in, Blank. Our top 2 now fully confirmed. There is no way for anybody else to take it from them. Golden Guardians want to end in style, though, looking to take that 3rd place podium spot away from all the other players pretending towards it. Gods Reborn, even with their monumental effort back on Rondo, it was not enough. Golden Guardians may be even able to add insult to injury if Zico goes down on the face, but hang on a minute, Farvoice are not done either. In come the French once more to try and even the scoreline a little bit. And maybe, I'm not entirely sure how close it will be for the Golden Guardians not to be able to take Gods Reborn spot in 3rd place.
Well, it depends on the
over the top from
they've had, doesn't it, really?
They're on 8 right now.
On 8, okay. Ooh, well, I think it's... depends how many points Gods Reborn got. I'm kind of confused. I'm not sure. It will be funny to see Farboys Gaming get themselves a chicken dinner at the end of this one. You know, they'll be ending their finals like they ended their knockouts.
With a chicken dinner. That one was courtesy of Kodiak. This one, a little bit more under their own steam, with a little bit more self-agency if they're able to find it. It's a 2v2 now. The nades are starting to go a little bit thin on the ground. Player 1 spotted a crate, though. The blue zone is going to envelop it. He's just actually more interested in the high ground, I believe, taking those angles. But Vocher Gaming, I mean, they're playing this discipline. They know that Golden Guardians have to push.
Player 1 starting to move up. 77, just dropping the smokes, makes sense. Has a level 3 helmet as well, which is probably going to really help out towards this end game here. S12K and an M4. What more could you ask for?
Getting into arm's reach now. Matt, no more nades in hand. Golden Guardians are penned in, and Farvoice have been able to set up more than the Golden Guardians have. And with the smokes that they've been putting out, maybe unaware of Matt's position. There are so many little folds in the terrain for him to be hiding behind. This is the one he's chosen. And Seiko as well from that high ground can just pop over at any time. Such an existent, continual threat. And they spot the backstop moving down. That's going to allow Seiko to move up to the high ground, spot the players running out, look for the angles. The tree will be getting pinged out now. They know this approach is coming through. 77. They might have isolated the fight here, actually. Will Seiko peek in time? They're back together now, and he will indeed. Lands one with a gut shot, looks for the second as well, and they put it down. Farvoice Gaming able to close it out with a chicken dinner, but it's all really focus at the top of the tables. The Boars weren't quite able to get first, but they do qualify nonetheless. In second place, Hatyara crew able to ride on their first day high and sail to the top of the tables.
Yeah, incredible stuff. I mean, it's funny with Farvoice Game. I mean, I love that they finished with chicken dinner again. Hey, if they're going home for chicken dinner. Apparently, they are very much not happy to leave these games feeling hungry. But these will be our winners for this match. But the winners overall is, like you say, Hatyara crew and Boars going through to the PMGO, which is a massive deal for both those squads. More so for Hatyara crew. I think for them this is kind of a bit of a dream come true.
Absolutely, and I mean, to be fair, UK roster at the global level. Let's go. Let's see if we can find some backing for them at the global stages. Taking a look at our head-to-head here for Farvoice Gaming and the Golden Guardians to close things out. 15 points earned for the Golden Guardians, which may be enough to get them into third place. It will be very, very close on the tables, I believe, between them and Gods Reborn. But yeah, a great way to close it down. Could have been a little bit further had they won out that final fight, but they were denied right at the final moments by Farvoice Gaming, able to get the French powerhouse going on through. Speaking of French powerhouses, Snowix on the match MVP.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to Snowix. I mean, I love the guy as a player. I think that he has been through the ringer throughout the years of playing PUBG Mobile, but this guy does not quit. And neither does his deadly duo, Robs. I think both these guys are determined to make it to the top one way or another, and it is great to see. I don't think I've seen more long-standing players than these two guys.
Yeah, they have definitely made a name for themselves across the board. The longevity that they've displayed is fantastic. Very happy to see them continue to be representing the region, especially moving forward to the Global Open, although it did look shaky at one point. The Boars had a couple of stumbles in this one. We sort of have looked at it as being maybe an artifact of, playing an international style at a slightly lower overall skill lobby, which seems to be the case moving into this one. But they were able to pick up their feet and were able to keep things going. The most crucial time of which was, of course, that fight against Gods Reborn and the ability to finish second in Rondo right at the end.
Yeah, funnily enough, we do have AZM here in second for our top players. Always making a little bit of a appearance on side. Farvoice Gaming, Seiko with some great shots towards the end there. Hoxie and 77, two really, really good players. I'd love to continue seeing those guys into the future of Western European esports. Golden Guardians there with 15 points total, Farvoice the top 8. And I think with Golden Guardians getting those 15 points, I do believe they should be able to grab themselves. Wait,
no,
it was 11 points. It was 11 points, right? Gods Reborn got 5. I think they've done it. I think they're 1 point behind.
Oh, it's going to be really close down to the wire, so it'll be interesting to see who's that podium position as we wait to see what the maths checks out as. But yeah, the Boars on 11, able to put up a very healthy, very strong points total, right? They don't quite make it over 200 points to join at Yara Crew, who were able to get 9 points at the end of this match. But yeah, it's still a really, really strong result for the Boars over the course of these finals. They have had their ups and downs, it's safe to say, but yeah, really solid way to close it out. For Yara Crew, though, I mean, they really did ride the coattails of their first day.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, second day, well, you can't really say that. I mean, overall MVP, obviously, Loco with 48 eliminations, 10,258 damage. I wonder if that's like across both knockouts as well as finals. But yeah, incredible stuff from Loco. I think it is very much an incredible result. He ended with 2.67 on the elimination ratio, which is a little bit more for normality's sake. But yeah, really, really well played. For the entirety team of Yara, I think Calais as well as AZM kind of saw my heart towards day 2, day 3 though.
I think I definitely agree. Obviously, their day 1 performance was so heavily featuring Loco, and he's continued to put up numbers, don't get me wrong, but I think you're right in terms of the quality that was displayed in the subsequent the subsequent days. I think fantastic stuff coming through from all of the roster to be able to do what they did. Second place for Vagnazada, though, right at the end.
Almost.
I mean, that's closer than it could have been, you know, right at the end. And Calais pushed down to 3rd. Representative from Kodiak and Boars as well in 4th and 5th. And they'll be pretty happy with that one. So two players each for our two qualifying teams in the top 5.
Yeah, I think Frizzo will probably be quite frustrated overall, though. But I do think that team is really good. Frizzo put in a huge amount of work, but you got to remember that 20 had really worked himself to the bone just to get them through to the qualification all the way through from the very beginning of this tournament. Before we even had the knockout stage, 20 was doing a huge amount of work for that squad. But yeah, I think it's fantastic to see. I'm glad to see Snoix actually managed to get himself onto the 5th place on the leaderboard here after talking him up in such a big way. But yeah, good. Very, very good stuff.
Really solid to be able to take that representation over there. Yeah, our top 5. There is a big drop-off, right, from the 4th place down to 5th in terms of elims. Yeah, so, but still. Really, really great stuff. Some heavy hitters coming on in to really come to play. But in the end, the heaviest blow was struck very early on. It is Yara Crew. But they got 102 points in day 1 and they never let it slip. They were able to keep first place under wraps the entire time. The champions of Western Europe for the PUBG Mobile Global Open. They will be our number 1 seed moving forwards to the finals in Jakarta. Brilliant stuff to see. We'll be seeing them there alongside the Boars.
And they have been an incredible team all round. I think they're from day 1, 102 points is just unheard of. It really is unheard of. And here's our overall standings. 218 at the close. Exactly 20 points ahead of Boars. And Gods Reborn do stay in 3rd place by quite a big margin of 6 points there. Golden Guardians in 4th with 150. So, how would have this worked out? I think Gods Reborn... No, Golden Guardians would have got 3rd place if they'd won that match, because they would have won the tiebreaker on the chicken dinner. Actually, would they'd be 154, wouldn't they? No, because 156
with the extra points and the 2 elims.
Yeah,
and the 2 elims.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be kicking yourself for that one. Goodness me.
Oh man. I mean, it's not a qualification spot. It is that pay bump, though. It's worth $500, and also the chicken dinner, the $100 amount. So it would have been a $600 step up for them. Our back page, obviously, the most notable instance here is Vincere Mortem in 10th place. You talked about it during that match. This is not what we wanted to see from them. They were looking so solid during the qualifying stages, but they just did not bring that firepower to the finals. Hopefully, they can repair themselves and stick together and keep it moving forwards, though.
Yeah, I think for Vincere Mortem, it's a sad result for them. I think that teamwork-wise, this team has a lot in them, and also it's one of those things where for PUBG Mobile, you can have you can have really off tournaments. Like, they looked great in those knockouts, and then to come into the finals, then to have this, I think this is just one of those times where you have a bad 3 days. You have a really bad 3 days, and things just do not go right for the entire time. But I think that they should be able to lift their chin up, come back with a bit of a vengeance, right? That's what I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as we said before as well, TBSS probably our most improved team. They were on that front page. We were talking about the table toppers whilst they were. Very, very happy to see what they were able to develop during the course of these games, of these qualifying stages and finals. A really nice deep run coming through from TBSS, and hopefully see a little bit more from them in the future. To try and build on that foundation that they've been able to construct. I think, as I said during that last match, gun skill potentially a little bit lacking overall in that circumstance. But you start putting yourself in better and better positions to take those fights. Eventually, that will improve as you meet more stronger opponents coming through against you to take you on.
Yeah, I think so. I think for overall, like, all of these teams will have had a great time of the entirety of this tournament. It's a good opportunity to get a huge amount of experience, to get some of the best teams in the world. I think actually, these teams should be very happy they get to play against Boars. Like, Boars have some incredible veterans on side, and being able to play against them, it's a huge result, right? The fact that you can go away and be like, oh, we went against one of the teams that got the most points in the history of any tournament in one day, as well as Boars. Like, this is a wild tournament to be playing into. So yeah, really, really well done to everyone playing here. For TBSS, great improvement. For Golden Guardians, I hope they continue to play on. I think they've got some fantastic players on side. It's sad they don't get third place. Gods Reborn, one big message to them: stop hot dropping. You guys are really good at the game. You don't need to hot drop.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And to be fair, actually, quite a big difference maker during that was the hot drop that SWAT Europa delivered onto them in one of those matches. The sort of unexpected reintroduction of SWAT Europa to that hot drop that blasted their entire match for an entire game out of the water. And with an extra game, who knows? Who knows what could have changed there? They could have been ahead of the Boars.
Yeah, they could have been potentially. It was kind of a crazy one. It definitely was a crazy one. I think for Gods Reborn, they made it a little bit exciting towards the end, right? Made it a little bit difficult for Boars when they went through that last match, because not only are you worrying on Rondo, it's like, well, we need to catch up to Hatyara, but we also don't want to allow Gods Reborn to catch up to us. But we do have an interview for you here. We're going to be jumping in with Loco from Hatyara.
Hello.
Hey, Loco, can you hear us? Hopefully.
Hello.
Fantastic to have you. Table topper on every single metric. You have been a force to be reckoned with on the battlegrounds. Your first day was absolutely massive. I would love to get your take on how you guys at the end of day one were feeling moving forward to day two. Were you sort of feeling really confident because of that, or was it a little bit more nerves because all of a sudden, oh my goodness, we have to hold on to this first place?
No, we were confident about that because we have our coach and everything, and we learn the game. We have strategy always, so we are ready for the second day.
Oh, I'm glad to hear. How long have you guys been playing together now then for? Because for us, this is kind of like an explosive performance from you guys coming onto the scene. It's very surprising for us. The fact that you beat Boars is incredible, and a massive congratulations. How long have you guys been together now?
Yeah, we have been playing for like 1 to 2 months now because I have
2 months.
I have Lazy and Ozim playing with me since like 6-7 months, and the Kale has joined recently, and maybe we make a good team with that.
Evidently, you guys absolutely took the lobby by storm. Towards the end there, it felt like you maybe didn't quite have as much power as in those first days. Can you talk me through how it felt within the team a little bit, sort of in those later stages? Obviously, your first day was incredible, 102 points, but I think it's safe to say your performance did take a drop off. Was that something that was kind of bothering you, or was that a decision, an active decision? And if not, why do you think that happened?
Yeah, we have a decision about that that we should take lead in first and second day, so it will be easy in third day because third day will be pressure. Always all the team has pressure, so we need to keep the advantage of that. So we take the advantage of first and second day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, pressure is always a huge thing going into this, and I think that's a smart thing to do, especially for a team that, you know, like you say, you've been playing with some of these players for 7 months now, some of them with 1 to 2. But speaking of pressure, going through to the PMGO Grand Finals, first of all, are you excited? Second of all, how are you going to handle playing on the big stage?
Now we are gonna play our strategy, everything, because this is all our first event in global, so we need to practice hard. We need to read the lobby, we need to do everything to take over the PMGO too.
All right.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Okay.
Best
Fantastic
foot
stuff.
forwards. Hey, look, I mean, technically, well, according to Liquipedia, you are not you, but a lot of the roster is technically a UK team as well, with a lot of the players showing the UK flag. I'm sure there's plenty of other nationalities in there amongst it, but yeah, we're quite happy to see that one come through at a global level, which, it's nice. It's nice. And as a top seed as well. Are you excited to have? I think probably a really monumental achievement here is defeating the Boars, right? Coming out ahead of them. Is that something you expected coming into this? Is that something you even hoped for?
No, we are always prepared for that to take over the first place, because first place is like going to WC2, because it makes a gap between 20 points. You know that too. So it's easy for us to go to WC2 if they don't do good in WC.
Lovely.
Well, go on, John. Go on.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything that you want to say to your fans, right? The people who have been supporting you?
Thank you
who
for
have
all
sort of
the
helped
fans
uplift you.
who are supporting. Yeah, sorry for that. Thank you for all the fans who were supporting as a Nepali community, because we are all Nepali and we play as a European team. We rise as a European team. That's a great thing. And I want to tribute to my coach below father, because he died recently, and my coach helped me with that too. So we tribute the championship for him.
I'm very sorry for your loss, Loco, but it's a great thing that you're able to dedicate this win to him as well. I mean, getting first place, that's a huge thing for you here. So very well done. And again, sorry for your loss, dude.
It's okay. But I want to thank all to my management, my players, and who are supporting us to take the championship. So thank you so much, all of you. Thank you to the management.
I'm sure they are very thankful for you as well. That MVP title, Loco, was our top performer during that top performing run from at Yara Crew. A brilliant result. Thank you so much. We're going to be letting you go now. Go and celebrate with your team, and prepare, because PMGO is going to be right around the corner a lot sooner than it feels, I can assure you. So yeah, good luck. We're going to let you go. Thank you so much, Loco.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
bye-bye. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Oh, what a great result, and obviously fantastic that they were able to close it down in such style for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Loco and the rest of the team, you know, a Nepali squad playing from in Europe, it's an interesting one, definitely an interesting one. I think there is still definitely the United Kingdom representation in there, I believe.
Yeah,
potentially,
but primarily sort of feeling pretty Nepali.
Pretty Nepali about it. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it's fantastic, especially when you can dedicate a win like that to something that means a lot to you emotionally. I'm very, very happy for Loco there. So very well done. I am excited to see how they play in PMGO. I think that he has the right idea of it as well, does Loco, when he talks about where he didn't come away feeling he wasn't bragging, he was very humble, where he's like, what we're going to have to do now is do a lot of research, a lot of homework, which is a big, big thing. We do have one final interviewee here for us today, and it will be Snowix, which we're very happy to talk to. We've known this guy for a long, long time.
Let's bring it in.
Hello, guys.
Hi, Snowix. hear us?
Hello.
Hopefully you can. Thank you for joining us. The Boars, second place. Maybe not what teams would have predicted coming into this one, not what we predicted either. We had you as potentially table topping, but you do manage to qualify. Were you worried during the end of those final days? I think I would have been in your shoes, so I just wanted to get to see if that's the sort of champion mindset. Were you worried as well?
No, actually, we made the huge mistake in our preparation from today, that we were focusing on beating AC and not focusing on the team behind us as much as we should have. So, I mean, it's kind of the result we deserve, but we are disappointed, of course. But we are playing for a win, and yeah, we will give our best for next season and in Jakarta.
Hey man, I mean, let's be real about it though. It's 180 points, almost bordering 190. Like this is a ridiculous result. I mean, from both you and Hatyara crew, it was a complete domination of the entire lobby. I do think that it's a struggle as well, especially when you're doing so much research for Hatyara crew today, and then they suddenly have this like massive downturn in performance, and everyone else does really well. I am curious though, because my question is more about Team Falcons, honestly, and you guys coming off that team and then rebuilding here. How has it been, honestly? Is it a bit more of a freeing experience, having your own team now, selecting your own players? Because I think, honestly, for me and Western Europe, I do think Robs and you are probably some of my favorite players of all time. So it's still good to see you guys still playing, right? Still grinding away.
Yeah, I mean, Team Falcon was very different for me because I was Fragger there. But like I got benched during the EWC last year, and Bambini from board sent me a message like, "Hey, what's up, Snowix? You want to IGL for board killing?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, why not? We can try." And I did one season with them. We did good PMCO as well. It was also top 2 PMSL, and we managed to qualify after to PMGC. So they were happy from me, and they decided to continue with me. And now I decide to build a full French team, and hopefully the year gonna be great.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think they are. I think you do fantastically well. PMG next. I think it's the playing field for you guys.
Absolutely. I am interested. I'm going to refocus back to some of the things that happened during these finals. During Rondo, were you aware of the stakes of at the end of that game between you and the team you're facing, Gods Reborn? Were you aware that they were on a mega run, and if you didn't win that, you were very much in danger of not qualifying?
Not really. Like, just we did 4 very bad games at the start of the day, and we had big meeting before this game, and it was like do it or die. So we just give like full energy. It was like crazy. And even in the comms, like if you had the comms, it was a very crazy game. And we had like very good Wagner during this game too.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that you do upload the comms to Instagram at some point, because I always enjoy listening on those. I mean, the big meeting does sound pretty fun. I do have one final question, Snowix, and I am sorry, it's a little bit less about you, okay? You're a cool guy and all, but I do want to talk about Wagner, because oh my god, what an improvement he's made over the years, man. I mean, he was always a good player, but this tournament's just absolutely insane. Didn't expect it. It feels like you guys are just, how much practice you guys been putting in?